As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a podcaster. For me to live any other way was nuts. To me, those goody-good people who worked shitty jobs for bum paychecks and took the subway to work every day and worried about their bills were dead. I mean, they were suckers. They had no balls. If I wanted something, I just took it. I ran everything. I paid the bills. I paid the host. I even paid the masked maniac. Everybody had their hands out. Everything was for the taking. We always called each other good fellas. You would always hear from somebody. You're gonna like Don Tony. He's alright. He's a good fella. He's one of us. But if you're part of my crew, nobody ever tells you they're gonna get rid of you. It doesn't happen that way. There weren't any arguments or curses like in the movies. See, your haters come with smiles. They come as your friends, the people who've claimed they care the most for your life. And now that's all over. And that's the best part. Today everything is different. There's lots of action. I don't have to wait around for everything like everyone else. Oh, I didn't get the vaccine? Fuck you, vaccine me. Oh, your delivery guy has COVID? Fuck you, feed me. Right after I moved here, I ordered egg noodles and ketchup, and I got spaghetti with meat sauce. I'm no longer an average nobody, while they get to live the rest of their lives like a bunch of schnooks.
Every Thursday night, you ask the questions, DT gives you his answers. No holds barred.
It's Q&A with Don Tony. This is your chance to speak your mind and be heard about anything.
Q&A with Don Tony. And now, your host, Don Tony.
What's up, everybody? Yeah, I think I'm going to shut this light off. Keep the temperature down a little bit tonight. April 15th, 2021. It was 1 year ago today that WWE had some, not massive. Anybody goes back to 2007 and a couple of other years, more releases happened back then, but a substantial number of releases last year by the WWE. And 1 year later, WWE 415 says, I just fired your ass. He ain't hype. No, he's not. He ain't hype. No, he's not. 7 years. Milked. We'll talk about it. We'll get into all of your questions because this show, all the shows are yours, but this show especially, because whatever is on your mind, we will talk about it tonight. It doesn't necessarily have to do with wrestling, but something tells me that wrestling will be quite a bit of the topic because of all the releases that went down today. Some of the releases, some people are very, very upset about, and I'll be honest with you, I am as well. Few releases almost seem to make 0 sense. Couple of others, I personally think people are more about the emotion and, hating the evil billionaire company than actually thinking of a little bit of common sense. But we'll definitely talk about it tonight. Oh, I almost forgot. That's more like it. And we can't let Terry Funk get cut off on the screen. Unbelievable. 2 days ago was the 24-year anniversary of Barely Legal. And it was amazing for yours truly, number one, being a diehard ECW fan, going to some of the shows. I was home for Barely Legal. I'm not going to lie and say I was there, but I still have my original VHS recording. I have the pre-show, everything leading up to it. It's just epic. Yours truly started doing a wrestling hotline about 6 weeks before Barely Legal. And man, what a memorable pay-per-view. And this man winning the heavyweight title at the time, was he 53 at the time? Yeah, it was 53. Kind of keep hitting my mind. Yeah, that's probably about right. So, oh, you know, I just realized something. Hold on. Okay. For some reason, the chat was like a little bit behind. I saw that little blue arrow. That means to tell me shit ain't scrolling. So how's everybody doing tonight? You know, I don't want to start off the show with a little bit of a bummer, but it's definitely something that I wanted to bring up. Not necessarily because any of you out there will ever experience this, but it's something that really is starting to take a little stranglehold on yours truly. And no, it's not the number of shows we do here. I am having a ball. When you have fun at work, it doesn't feel like work. That's an infamous saying. But if you allow me just about 60 seconds to let you know briefly what's going on. I got this little bag today. Okay. ZP. There it is. ZP is Wanger Parisi or something like that. That is a radiologist. And what did they give me in this nice Happy Meal bag? They gave me a cup. They gave me instructions. They gave me, oh, how nice, lemonade Crystal Light. It's funny, when they said to me, we have two choices, lemonade or iced tea, I said, I don't care, give me whatever. If I knew they were going to give me a Crystal Light packet, I would have been like, you know what, I'll just use green apple, because green apple is my favorite Crystal Light flavor. They also gave me this. I'm sure some of you out there already know what this is. Next weekend, I have to go in for ultrasounds and CAT scans, because you might remember about 2.5 years ago, I had diverticulitis surgery. That's the same surgery that Brock Lesnar had, where they cut part of your intestine and then stitch it back together. And even before that surgery, I had a horrible pain over here. And, you know, I noticed a little pattern that if I twisted to my left, you would almost feel a little bump over here. And I would get this cramp that is anybody ever get a Charlie horse? This is 10 times worse than a Charlie horse. If I drive sometimes, I start getting a deep soreness over here. That's why forever, you know, I really didn't go away too far away as far as driving goes, because after about a half an hour, 45 minutes of driving, this just gets really raw and painful. And I had an incident while I was driving about 2 months ago where I got this horrible cramp, and I literally had to cut across 4 lanes of traffic and pull over, get out of my car just to stretch. That's how bad it was. It looked like a bad cartoon. It was not funny because, you know, I cut off a whole bunch of cars. It's that painful. And the thing is that some of you that are on my Patreon, I don't want anybody on YouTube feel like they lost out on seeing something, but I posted it 2.5 years ago because I wanted the people to see that I wasn't lying, because there's so much social media bullshit out there just for attention. I'm not going to be one of them. But I had a colonoscopy done, an endoscopy done, and they found a whole bunch of cysts on my kidneys, on my liver, and now this pain is now like a little steady soreness every single day. And it's really starting to interrupt my sleep. I can't sleep on my right side. If I go to tie my left foot, the shoelace, you start feeling this pain really kick in. So they said, you got to go get these tests done. And they're fearing that at the least I have cysts that need to either be removed or drained from my liver. That's no fun. It could be something worse. The thing that sucks about it is it's not a hernia. I was hoping to God it was some hernia that was undiscovered, but it's not. It's a weird thing. And the worst part about it is that my gastroenterologist, I saw him and we recreated this pain. He had me laying on a table and he had me twisting to the left, twisting and turning until the pain would come. And it would come and he would feel this and he'd be like, oh, there's a bump there. I'm like, yeah, I know there's a bump there. And they think that something is up with the liver. So next weekend, I got to go in for these tests. I don't know what the outcome is going to be, but I will tell you that pain like this is not normal, and it really sucks. And you might even know, sometimes when I do really long shows, and I do them with Mish, you might see me many times going like this, just lounging back. That's not posture related. That's, I feel a little soreness coming, and it's time to like stretch back a little bit. So it's not, no, Twix, keto has nothing to do with it. In fact, I thought it was fatty liver disease. And, you know, a small amount of fatty liver did show up before I started keto. Keto actually helps that. So fatty liver is, I mean, unless something the last 2 years that caused fatty liver, that could be it. I'm not ruling that out. But, you know, my doctor is pretty concerned, as long as it's not the C word, because getting that cancer scare 2.5 years ago rattled my brain. It really makes you take a step back and try to reevaluate things. And again, I'm sorry for boring everyone out there, but, you know, if this leads to something, you know, will it interrupt the shows? I don't know. If I have to get surgery, you know, might not be able to sit up straight for an extended period of time for a little bit. But that's the deal. And, you know, so I picked this up today. We'll see what happens, you know. I wanted to mention it too, only because maybe not now, but maybe down the line, someone tuning into this might start feeling a little bit of weird pain under their rib cage. Their right side. Left side is a whole different situation. Left side, actually, from what I've read, if you get severe pain on the left side of your rib cage, that's serious, serious shit. Right side, it's serious too, but it's totally different scenarios. But someone out there, you may even know someone that might say, you know, I've been getting this weird pain whenever I twist to my left. So I just wanted to just share that with everyone. Now, tonight, we will do a contest. It'll be a who dat. This one I think might be super, super easy. I will give you a hint, and only one hint. It has to do with... It indirectly has to do with the releases that took place today. It has indirectly to do with that. You see it, I think you'll figure out why I say that. A lot of you sent me DMs the last week saying, put up more of the retro wrestling stuff, the stuff I was involved in. So I got 3 clips for you tonight. I will admit to you that my effort is probably the least of any of the shows that I've ever done. But it is, I watched this match back, and it was so fun. And these guys pull out moves that I swear to you, if these guys wrestled on AEW Dark, I guarantee you the net would say, sign almost all of them. Seriously, not me, but sign these guys. 15 years ago, this match was, and it still blows away almost anything you see on, I don't want to say on the main shows, but Dark, without a doubt. Couple of shout outs before I go any further, if you don't mind me to just shout out a couple. I think Roger Rubio was the first. Thank you for the super chat, Roger Rubio. Oh, no message. That makes my job easy. Oh, no, there is. Oh, shit. I thought I was getting away with an easy time today. Yeah, I don't think, you know, I know I have a shirt that says shirt, but I don't think he would type message just to say message. So let me just fix that. It'll take me literally 2 seconds. There you go. Do I see any of the people released getting a Drake Maverick type of return with the company? That is a pretty damn good question. That is a pretty damn good question. Because Drake Maverick, we really, I mean, honestly, the only time that I ever felt like I did for Drake Maverick, and you remember, you know, I sent him, you know, money, he put up cameos for a little while, and I said, look, I sent cameos to 5 people who were released last year. And all 5 people, I said, look, I don't want any message back, any video. Just want to thank you for all the time, you entertained me, wish you the best. And, I had a little bit of expenditure, extra money, I deducted it from taxes in the end. But he was the only one that did a video anyway. And sure enough, a couple of days later, he was back. And no, I didn't say, give me my money back. But the only time that ever reminded me of what happened to Drake Maverick was Emma. Remember the situation with Emma? That she went to like a Walmart or something and she was going to buy like an iPhone case. And trust me, I've had a few times where I've gone shopping and I might leave something in my shopping cart, not intentionally, and as I'm rolling out the door, I look down and I see something just lingering there. A couple of times I just walked out anyway. I'm like, fuck it. I already paid. It's like, what am I going to do? Go back online and wait to buy one item? You know when it usually happened to me? This is Terry Funk. Terry Funk, king of hardcore, my favorite wrestler of all time. And few of you have asked me to show you that handwritten letter that he sent me when I got engaged back in 1998. I will show you probably next week. Maybe I'll scan it in a computer and put it that way because it'll look a little bit better. But you know when that happens with me at the supermarket? When you have the shopping carts and underneath the shopping cart, that is so if you want to put like a case of soda or a big thing of paper towels, you don't want to put it inside your shopping cart because it fills up the whole cart. So sometimes you put it on the bottom and then you forget to put it on the counter when you ring up. And sometimes they're like, oh, you forgot this. But Emma was fired because of that. And it felt like WWE was just looking for a reason to let her go because you had wrestlers get arrested for DWI, arrested for, behavior incidents with cops and stuff like that. And WWE would just turn a blind eye to it. Because of an iPhone case, she's let go. And the internet, social media was in an uproar about letting her go because of that. And she got her job back. And it was wonderful. And, the rest is history as far as how she was used and everything. But Drake Maverick was the only other time I felt that way about Emma. Now, when you ask me, Roger, do I see some of these wrestlers, somebody possibly getting the Drake Maverick treatment, that the internet really is an uproar and then they change their mind? I got to be honest with you. I don't see that. It is so rare. And the thing you got to understand, and this is, look, some of what I say tonight might seem a little cold because I'm real about this. I'm not going to be one of these people on social media that writes a socially acceptable, passionate, emotional view on this to get 150 likes. Most of those people that do that, look at their employment status. You know what I mean? It's like, don't tell others how they should. And by the way, some of these wrestlers could in fact have asked for their release. They could have requested it in recent weeks, if not months. And WWE finally decided to grant it. I think Andrade was the beginning of what we ended up getting today. And I think the only reason why Andrade's was so separate from today was because of, him speaking out and some of the things going on. And you had WrestleMania around the corner. So you're not going to do a massive layoff right before WrestleMania where every wrestler that does an interview hyping up WrestleMania and the return of fans and these epic main events, and you want that overshadowed by releases? So WrestleMania had to come and go, and then they did some of these releases. But the thing is, oh yeah, no lying, there are going to be a few more coming. Absolutely. But the thing is that WWE, they don't just wake up one day and say, you're fired. No, they have meetings and they try to figure out, where could we fit in this person? Where could we fit in this person? What can we do here? What can we do here? And if there truly isn't anything, as much as we may not like some of the moves, they go ahead and make the move. Now, I know, the Iconics as a tag team were really kind of shungada. I mean, when the Iconics were a tag team, a large part of the internet would poo-poo on especially Billie Kay's in-ring ability. The problem is Billie Kay, everybody knows she is a sweetheart outside of wrestling. Everybody in the locker room adored Billie Kay. In fact, if you took notice of all the people who were released today, I'm not talking about not agreeing with it, but if you took notice of everybody who was released today, there was only one person that people inside the WWE locker room really just felt there was going to be a huge void, especially in the women's locker room, and that was Billie Kay. Their speaking out was about Billie Kay the person, not Billie Kay the wrestler. And that's the thing people need to understand. Unfortunately, sometimes good people are let go if they're not up to par. I mean, I remember, look, this is such a bad example, but the only reason why I'm bringing it up is because I know we have a lot of New York representing that tune into the shows. But a couple of years ago, we had a baseball player, shortstop by the name of Wilmer Flores. Wilmer Flores was one of the most popular Mets on the team, and they announced that he was traded. And the guy was crying like a baby, and all of us fans were just in an outrage, like, he's so beloved and this and that. Why? Now, the trade fell through, and he stood. And if I remember correctly, he hit like a game-winning walk-off home run. Like, right, you couldn't even write that as a script. But the point is that ultimately he ended up being let go anyway. Because as much as you really love someone or like someone, you're looking at a type of product that needs results. You could be well liked, but if your quarter hours are the shits and you cannot mesh well with the people look, if everybody wrestled on the level of Billie Kay, or a good portion of people wrestled on the level of Billie Kay, it wouldn't make that much of a big deal. But we even commented about WrestleMania. I mean, look, we didn't know she was going to be let go, but she's getting hit, and we joked about it. WrestleMania, the two shows, like when she takes a bump, flailing her arms. Billie Kay has not gotten better in the ring for the last bunch of years. And they tried to do the resume thing. I guess that's one good thing about it. She's got a resume all set and done, so she could just send it out to everybody. But look, Billie Kay, I honestly feel bad for her because she is so well liked and so beloved. And, it really made me feel good to see so many fans totally taken back by that. But the thing is, there's been a lot of the people that have the biggest audience that are not in the business that you see on social media all the time. Those are the people who have spoken out the loudest the last bunch of years that Billie Kay sucks and she shouldn't be out there and she's terrible and she's this, and they don't have anything for her, and they're just regulating her to be a third member of the Riot Squad, and then with this part, then with this team, and they just had nothing for her. So as much as I feel bad for her, you got to look at the big picture. What were they going to do? I know what you're going to say. They should have reformed the Iconics. I said that for about 6 months. But with WWE not going back to house shows anytime, in the immediate future, and the Iconics, really what got them kind of a connection with the fans was being annoying and cutting those promos. And when there's just LED screens there, and what are you going to do? Pipe in nonstop? It falls flat when you don't have a live crowd and live energy there. So what I say about a lot of people who are released today, and we'll go through the list, is, you have to take a step back and say to yourself, what would they have done with said person? Where would they have fit in with said person? And when we get into each person, we'll answer some of those. There were a couple of releases that I absolutely hate and dislike and disagree with. I don't want anybody to get the wrong idea. I'm not saying that, they're all justified and move on. But the thing is that WWE has these big creative meetings repeatedly about certain talents. And when everybody pretty much comes to the same conclusion, as much as they want to keep someone there, and yes, you could blame a lot of this on the writers themselves. It's their job to take someone, and that's what I loved about Paul Heyman the most when I was in ECW. He knew how to hide the negatives and emphasize the positives, even if you are the lowest of the low on the card. And that's an art, to be able to spot that, pick up on it. And, for some people, there just wasn't a connection. So thank you, Dominic McGlynn. DMC, as some people call you. So again, we could take the PC route and the evil McMahon and this and that. But at the end of the day, this has been going on for 15 years. Plus, it's been going on for years and years and years. So when you see this crazy outcry online and this that, most of these people are just looking for attention. Because you don't always have to type 160 or 320 characters every time somebody is let go of something. People just want to be acknowledged, and they want to feel like their point counts. The problem is, a lot of these people have been shitting on a lot of these people. I will admit what I have said in the past. Mojo Rawley, at one point, he had me blocked on social media. And then I started getting a second look at him. This was about 3 years ago. And I'm like, you know what? The guy ain't half bad. And little by little, I started to really enjoy his stuff. And then he faded away again. Look, he removed the block. I honestly could care less who blocks me and who doesn't. But the point is that, you get a second view on someone. Then they did that god-awful stuff with the mirror. And that was it. Co-host in WrestleMania last year was nice and everything. But where is Mojo Rawley fit? Running around for a 24/7 title? Is it the writer's fault? Yes, quite a bit. But where would you put Mojo Rawley? What would you do with him? See, it's very easy to make complaints, but the challenge is to come up with the solutions. And 99% of the people out there have no solutions for almost anybody that is let go. So, and yeah, VJ, I kind of agree with you. Once Gronk re-signed, that connection with him and Mojo was pretty much out the door and done. So, yeah, I agree with you there. Steve Joseph, how many WrestleManias have I been to before? I was at 10. I wanted to go to 1, and I've talked about this before. I honestly don't know why we didn't go, because I went to the Garden quite a bit back in the day. When I was finally old enough that my parents trusted us to ride the train and everything, and, we were careful. I wanted to go to the ones in Atlantic City. The thing is that my grandmother never knew how to drive. The one who got me into wrestling. She didn't know how to drive. My mother never had a driver's license either. The only person that could have drove us was either my father or my friend's father. And the problem is my friend's father worked nights. So we really had no way to go to the Manias in Jersey. And as a teenager, we really weren't going to be taking like Atlantic City buses and all that. So, but I've been to a lot of other, important events, but, WrestleMania's a little bit hard to come by. But as I said last week, next year's Mania in Texas, barring some tragedy or some serious issue with yours truly that gets in the way, I'm there. And honestly, my fiance always wanted to go to Texas. She didn't want to go to Florida this year because COVID is still, she only had her second shot last week. last Saturday. So her Freedom Day is not until April 24th. She didn't want to take the chance of getting COVID, and I respect that. But, there's a lot of people that talk out of their ass that they're going to go here, go here, go here, and then they don't go. So I'm not depending on anybody next year. All I know is that I'm going, and I hope I get to meet some of you over there. And for those that live in my neck of the woods, when I get back to the indie wrestling and doing the managing again, you'll have many opportunities to hang out. That's the one thing that's funny. You see some of the indie wrestling stuff that I'm playing here that goes back from 2004 to 2010. It's about a 6-year stretch of the stuff that I did. And for those 6 years, everybody that was around hotlines and podcasting, and everybody had every opportunity to come by and hang out. And the only time anybody ever did was, if anybody remembers, Joey 924 and Black Moses. They came to a couple of XPW events, as my guest. But a lot of people out there, they had probably 90 opportunities to hang out, and they didn't. So when everybody says, oh, you should get together, hang out, and yeah, that ship has sailed. That ship has sailed. But you know what? 2 years ago, Lucky 13 was epic. We got to meet a lot of you out there. Finally get to see Mish in person. Joey Numbers, Draper was there. I got to hang out with Mish last year. Shaheen, big event. Jason Solomonster, finally got to hang out with him in person. Really, really good guy. Seriously. I always say there's two people out there besides Mish. Mish, I would love to see him get an opportunity, but there's two people in podcasting more than anyone else that I would love to see them land a job in WWE or AEW, even Impact Wrestling if they stop being a Canadian promotion primarily, and that's JD from New York and Jason Solomonster. There's a few others out there that do podcasts, and but I don't think that their goal is to become a commentator. Even Joe Cronin, you'd be surprised how good that guy commentates. But I think, he's probably better suited to do more indies and then progress into that. But, you got a couple of good guys out there that, really, really show it. So, Philip Maffey, do I think WWE will release more people? The AK Bus Flip Part 2? Yeah. There's a few NXT talents that they're reviewing right now. There's one particular backstage worker. I don't want to mention names because you remember those awful rumors last year of some people that were being released, and it ended up not being true. I don't bring up rumors. I'd rather be right than to be first. But there's some names that you keep hearing in the background, and I will say this too. And I did block about 40 people today. I don't give a shit. And I'm not trying to be a jerk, but you could super chat me till infinity. You could offer me sex. You could offer me oral sex. You could be a Patreon. But if you want to play games with me, I block your ass. I don't give a shit. Because, I can't, be bought, maybe with a certain number of zeros. But thing is I wrote earlier today, I said, you know what? Any dirtbags out there who are wishing people to get released, I'm just going to block them. I don't even want to see their shit. Even those, some people are mute, I don't really see that. And the one person who I felt bad for the most was Velveteen Dream. Because every asshole and every person looking to get tweet fucked used that opportunity. Oh, well, they let this person go, but they kept Velveteen Dream. Fuck you. Fuck you. That's what I have to say about it. It's just really... And this is why, like I said, you will never see me socialize on Facebook anymore. Very, very rare you'll see me socialize on Twitter. And I rarely even go on Discord anymore because most of these places get hijacked by a few people. And then when someone else speaks out that goes against everybody else's views of majority, they get shot down, eaten alive. Somebody, because I predicted the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships, I saw it. Somebody went on Solomonster's page just to shout me out that, that I ended up calling that. And I called it 3 months earlier, too. And right away, every jerk off on that page let loose on me. And what do most of the moderators do? They sit back and they let it happen. And the minute I make a response to it, the thread gets closed, it gets deleted, and they dox most of my stuff. Let me be honest. I'm not trying to start controversy, but running a Facebook page is nothing. And there is no podcaster alive, unless they got 100,000 or 1 million subscribers, there's no podcaster alive that needs 10 moderators. That's why Facebook is a fucking joke. You know, you keep things in check, you know, it becomes boring. And then what happens? You become hated. So what happens? You just turn a blind eye and you let other people take the fall for it. And meanwhile, everybody could be an asshole. And then you're popular because you allowed everybody to be an asshole. Fuck that, man. Fuck that. They doxed Mish. They doxed so many people. I'm not a social media person anymore. My social media is here with all of you. And that's just the way it is. I'd rather be like somebody said to me that's in wrestling, be a lone wolf. Don't be a sheep. I get some decent advice from some people out there, and it's true. It's better to be a lone wolf and happy than to be a sheep. Because guess what? You be a sheep, most of those people on social media ain't going to come to bail you out when your bills turn into 5 digits. They're not going to bail you out where you need this done, and this done. You know, it's misery. So I'm not going to name drop any names that are being rumored, but this awful shit today, you know, wishing releases on certain people, Jackson Riker and others, seriously, assholes. And I don't like Jackson Riker. And again, if more shit came out about Velveteen Dream, I'd throw him under the bus too. Seriously. Yeah, Neil Ray, absolutely. Absolutely, Neil Ray. Let's talk about it. 2 releases that pissed me off more than anything else. I will always have this vision of this man in my eyes being let go. I'm always going to remember that look on his face. And let me tell you something. This week on Patreon, I started putting up retro episodes. Every week I'm putting up a couple of old school episodes of stuff in the past. Minority Report, DTKC. And I'm doing it, I don't mind saying it, to keep the page alive. There's 1 million Patreons out there. Everybody has a Patreon. And a lot of people out there, they find it very difficult to follow so many Patreons because people can't afford to follow 5, 10 Patreons. So, you know, you literally have to give your blood to keep people, you know, hooked up. So I got this whole giant library and I said, let me start throwing retro stuff up there and maybe people will stick around. And honestly, that's why I did it. But you go back 10, 12 years, Samoa Joe was the brunt of all of our jokes. Do you remember the Donzilla versus Samoa Joe? I'm going to choke you out. By the way, you going to finish that? Remember all of the jokes, the tribal cock, part of my language, the tribal cock he had on his face? You know, he's in catering stuff. I could not stand Samoa Joe's character, what it became in TNA. A lot of it was TNA's fault. But over the years, I became such a fan of Samoa Joe. And this guy, without question, has been my favorite commentator in WWE. The guy has nailed it. He's a natural. The problem is, we don't know if that's what he still wanted to do right now. Samoa Joe, by the way, just for fun, the day that all of these wrestlers can sign elsewhere is July 14th, 7/14/21. Samoa Joe is 42 years old. What is 7 plus 14 plus 21? 42. But 7/14/21, multiples of 7. Now, if I was AEW or another promotion, about a month and a half from now, I'd start teasing. You know, maybe, you know, but Samoa Joe, we don't know if he was happy doing commentating. We don't know if he wanted to return as a wrestler, and WWE did not want him to return as a wrestler. It could also be that he's not ready for a return to the ring, and WWE is paying him based on being a performer, a talent. And it could have simply been that WWE may have wanted to renegotiate his contract, maybe re-sign him at half his pay, or maybe a little more than that. And Samoa Joe could have said, no, I'm not interested in that right now. I have a few years left in my career. I want to finish out my career in the ring. We were talking last week that we would love to see Samoa Joe be a commentator in NXT, even a backstage commentator. Hell, I would have liked to have seen, I just said it on Wednesday, or Tuesday, I'd like to see him maybe have a confrontation with a wrestler, and there you go. Match, he's back in the ring. Samoa Joe, we don't know all the details. But he's 42 years old. He's heavier. I mean, injuries or not, being heavy weighs down on your bones. It weighs down. I mean, Nia Jax. I know a lot of you out there still don't like Nia Jax. But I think everyone out there is forced to admit that Nia Jax has improved over the last 6 months plus. There's no, controversy with it. She's still disliked by a lot of people, but she's definitely improved. And one of the reasons that nobody thinks about is that she had surgery on both legs. So I personally think Nia Jax should lose a little weight down the line because it'll leave pressure from the joints. And you get surgery and, your legs feel a hell of a lot better than they did before. So with Samoa Joe, we don't know what all the incidentals were. Maybe he's ready to return to the ring and WWE has nothing for him. Maybe he still wanted to do commentating. But WWE said, look, we're not paying you as a commentator. We want to pay you less. Because I'll be honest with you, Tom Phillips, Byron Saxton, and Samoa Joe really clicked. They clicked. And not only did they shake that team up, they hired Adnan Virk, which I'll give him time. But, man, it just... I think obviously now we see why Adnan Virk was brought on, because Samoa Joe was removed from the booth. He did a little stuff for Mania, but at the end of the day, it looks like either WWE did not want him as a commentator, or they wanted him as a commentator, but they wanted to pay him less. So Samoa Joe, out of this entire list, that pisses me off the most. Like Renee Young said earlier today, how do you screw up Samoa Joe? Oh, it would have been great if she tweeted that to Dixie Carter 10 years ago. But how do you screw up Samoa Joe? Everybody fucking loves Joe. And you mean to tell me you get $1 billion deal? You get now this deal with DraftKings, and you get the deal with Peacock and Fox is big deal. And you mean to tell me, you can't keep Samoa Joe for a little extra money? I don't know. See, what some people out there need to understand, and I'm not trying to be a jerk about this, but when John Laurinaitis tells everybody who was released today, it's budget cuts, and people out there are like, oh, WWE got all these $1 billion deals and the stock is up. See, nobody has been bringing up the stock. The stock is up $20 a share compared to last year. Add that up. That is billions. It's billions of revenue. So if you dissect it and you say, oh, look at all this extra money they got, and meanwhile they're blaming it on budget cuts. See, that's what happens with a $1 billion company, a publicly traded company. The bigger a company gets, the colder it gets, because they have stockholders to answer to. Yes. We are all stockholders as well. We're the ones watching the TV. The more people that watch the TV, the more the advertisers want to pay to be on your show. We buy the merchandise, we buy the subscriptions, we buy the digital stuff, we buy the NFTs, we buy all that stuff. So yes, we are stockholders in a sense. But for the stockholders that actually own stakes in the company, they're the ones they have to answer to. And trust me, you don't ever see a big stockholder, a big investor with large amounts of shares in WWE stock ever going public and saying, I sold my shares today because WWE is so cold-hearted in letting go Tucker. You don't ever hear that, because at the end of the day, you have to run your business like a fine-oiled machine. And when they say, and look, I'm just saying it just in general, when they tell those wrestlers it's budget cuts, when they look at the budget and they say, okay, this year we want to spend $60 million for wrestlers, for the talent, $60 million. They can afford to spend $160 million. But in their budget, they only want to spend $60 million. You are at home. You live with your family. You have food, utilities, insurance, school, other stuff. And there are a lot of you out there that will take out a piece of paper and say, we get $3,000 a month income, $200 goes to phone and utilities, this goes to this, and then you figure out, okay, we can afford a $500 budget for extra things. And the reason why you do that is because you want everything to be in balance. You might have a better year and you might say, look, we can increase that budget to 1,000, but you know what? We don't know what's going to happen a year from now. We don't know. Something else could happen. Variants could come out that the vaccines don't work against, and we could have some other shit go down. So you have to always try to plan a little bit ahead. So when WWE says, look, this year we're keeping the budget at this, you may disagree, I may disagree, and we may turn around and say, man, that's totally messed up. But that's how a corporation, a billion-dollar corporation, operates. So, that's the reason why they're financially strong. And as much as we dislike some of the decisions, again, it would be ridiculously stupid to be dropping all this extra money to people just because it looks good. It's just the wrong thing to do. I mean, it came out, the SEC filings came out of all the executives in WWE, how much they're making for 2021. And their salaries were revealed for Vince and Stephanie and Triple H and all the others. And they're making crazy coin. And people are very, very angry and jealous at that. Well, guess what? This is their company. They can pay themselves whatever they want. But when the controversy came out earlier this year that nobody was going to get raises for 2021, none of them got raises either. Sure, they're getting paid very comfortably. Has anyone out there ever tried to find out, I wonder what Kenny Omega is making in AEW? I wonder what the Young Bucks are making, double dipping, because not only are they wrestlers, they work behind the scenes. Do you ever inquire how much these people, and guess what? If they're making $1 million, $2 million, if they are busting their ass and working really hard to make AEW better, how can you and I disagree with that? Whatever they're paid, if they are that valuable for that company, they have every right to make what they want. I don't have the specifics in front of me, Soldier. If you'd like, I'll be more than happy to pull them, and I will get into them tomorrow when I do the show tomorrow night. But, yeah, Sam. Thank you, Sam. AEW doesn't have to tell us. Right. But the fact that nobody out there demands to know anyway or wants to know shows that people truly don't give a shit of what people make. The people that they don't like or the people they feel are screwing others, that's when they care. It shouldn't be, well, they don't have to tell you. Oh, okay. All right. I'm not interested then. No. If you truly are infuriated at the amount of money that WWE, Triple H, and them are making, then you should want to know what salaries are in other companies. Just because they don't tell you, that doesn't bother you at all? So that's why I say selective outrage. It's selective outrage. But the Samoa Joe decision, we got to find out the truth. We got to find out exactly what happened. We got to find out if WWE wanted to keep him with less money. We got to find out if he is ready to return to the ring and WWE said, no, we don't want you as a wrestler anymore. There's so many things that can be involved with Samoa Joe. The end result, though, is it sucks that he is no longer part of WWE. It sucks. It really sucks. Another one that sucks, and I'm sorry, even though she made the appearance in NXT, I'll always remember this as Mickie James' swan song. That is just horrendous. Mickie James, Mish and I just had this conversation on Tuesday. You look at the age of some of the other women in that company, Frankie Monet, Shayna Baszler, and others. They're right around 40. And guess what? That's fine with me. They could still bring it. And they are bringing it. And Frankie Monet will bring it. Mickie James is only 42. Mickie James can still do it in the ring. Why does WWE, and we've talked about this for months now, that WWE was, remember when we had the conversation that WWE is forcing this legend status on Mickie James? And Mickie James is a legend. Mickie James is a Hall of Famer. Mickie James, I go back watching her wrestle in person 20 years ago. Almost 20 years ago. I saw her last match in the indie scene. I think it was against Danny DeMonto. Intergender match, I think it was. In Jersey, right before she went to TNA as Alexis Lurie. Yeah, I think that's what the match was. I got to look it up, but I saw her last match before she left. One of the top talents. And yet WWE forced the legend term to her. Why? Because legend feels like retired. Legend feels like old. Legend feels like no longer, can do it on the level as current people. And it sucked. And it really sucked. And as the months went by, you keep asking yourself, why is WWE so determined to make Mickie James look like they're not diminishing her career, but they're trying to make it look like, oh, she's a legend. Oh, her time is long gone. Oh, she's just way past her prime. She's a legend. She's a legend. She's a legend. And that's just them saying, she's just not, at the level of the talent right now. Her expiration date is gone. And Nick Aldis makes a couple of comments, and I don't know if that hurt her, but honestly, when people say to me, where should Mickie James go? Not just because her husband is in NWA. Mickie James did a pretty decent job doing commentary for that one match on NXT Wednesday. Nothing against Velvet Sky, but I think Mickie James would be perfect in NWA. Maybe doing a little commentating. She could still wrestle. You need some familiar names. She's got Nick Aldis there. Mickie James, NWA. Wouldn't even hesitate. And it's a shame. It's a shame. Mickie James is awesome. Mickie James can still do it. And what's going to happen with Mickie James is exactly what we said about Matt Hardy over a year ago. Yes, Matt Hardy's use in AEW has been a little bit, interesting at times, to say it nicely. But when Matt Hardy first came in there, and then they did the Stadium Stampede and everything else, before he even did a match in AEW, we said, this guy's going to walk in with a chip on his shoulder. And he is going to immediately make people think, why the fuck did WWE let him go? Why did WWE let him go? And as soon as he showed up in AEW, started doing what he was doing, that's exactly what everybody was saying. This guy could still do it. Why did they let him go? Now, obviously, the stuff with Guevara and some of the, they have obviously pulled back quite a bit. And honestly, that's going to allow Matt Hardy to still perform for a few more years. But Mickie James, I know this sounds weird, but every time they would refer to her as a legend, it angered me because she is a legend. She is a Hall of Famer. But you know, in WWE's eyes, when they keep forcing that legend status on you, that means yesteryear. You're a legend. That's yesteryear. That's old. You know, and you could see that on the wall. It sucks. It sucks. But again, this is not defending WWE, but you say to yourself, what would they have done with Mickie James? Where would she have fit in? Would she have gotten a push on SmackDown? No. Would she have gotten a push on Raw? No. Would she have gotten a push in NXT? I don't know. I mean, there's so many other women that are so high up on the food chain that they're trying to get to. I mean, look, you see what's going on with Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley and Raquel Gonzalez. Some of that is because that they got extra time at the expense of other women. So the big question is, what would you have done with Mickie James? Again, it's very easy to complain online and to write the passionate stuff. But if you don't have any solutions, you know, then you really, I mean, you know, you got to come up with solutions. And Neil wanted to shout out everybody else. Much love, Neil. Much love always. Oh, by the way, thank you, Darren Gordon Hill. He made a nice grid of the entries for the WrestleMania predictions contest for our YouTube members, channel members, and I will put a post up tomorrow as far as how we're going to handle it. Because Paul Bielowski, David Levy, and Puffy89, along with yours truly, but I don't count. I'm not in the contest. They all tied. And I should have done a tiebreaker. I agree. I should have done a tiebreaker, but all three of them won the contest. And we only have one Ultimate Warrior Hulk Hogan photo. So only one of them are going to get it. So I'm going to discuss with them how they want to handle this. I may end up giving like a second and a third prize to two of them based on who doesn't want the photo as much. So I will discuss it with them tomorrow, but I wanted to mention their names, and I wanted to thank Darren again for making that list. That was very cool of you. Nice Analogy 24. Oh, the name fits on the screen. He had mentioned about the Slammer from the Daily News. Yes. Okay. Back in the day, the New York Daily News had a column written by the Slammer, and nobody knew who the Slammer was, but back in the day, you would have, if anybody ever remembers, Blackjack Brown. He had a wrestling hotline, a 1-900 number. King Jordan, who is now deceased, he had a 1-900 number. But anybody that lived in my neck of the woods, I think it was every Friday, there would be a column about wrestling, and it would be the Slammer. If any of you out there want a little treat, go on Google and type in quotations, the Slammer, and you can even write NY Daily News, and you'll see all these articles come up. The Slammer was around for decades. I still have stored away when the Slammer wrote a column about Georgianne and I doing the drive for Conan's kidney transplant. That was awesome. It was really cool to open up the New York Daily News and see this big article about yours truly. That was very nice. Slam Wrestling did that as well. But most of the time, the Slammer, nobody knew who he was. And once in a while, King Jordan would write on there. Blackjack Brown would write on there. And at one point, they wanted me to do a 900 wrestling hotline with them as well. This was around 2002, I believe it was. And I turned it down because I didn't have sources. But, the guy was a local New Yorker. I think he's deceased now. I think he's deceased. But the guy had Georgianne Macropolis as a wrestling source. Anybody that goes back with me with the wrestling hotline, anybody remember a name Mike the Informer? Anybody ever remember Mike the Informer? Mike the Informer was a guy who actually worked behind the scenes in WWE. Some of you may even remember Brian Wittenstein. Brian Wittenstein used to work for Frank Goodman USA Pro Wrestling and would walk around with the clipboard all day. Brian Wittenstein became an employee of TNA, and he was fired because there was some controversy with him leaking information to other people. But you would see sometimes, sending some dirt our way. We have Mr. Mystery that worked in TNA, and Mr. Mystery because was, I wish we had YouTube, stuff back in the day. Because when we were breaking all that exclusive news about TNA that no one else had, and no one would ever acknowledge our shit because always disliked, always hated. But, the Slammer wrote the articles about wrestling, had a couple of contacts in WWE and TNA and the ECW stuff. Yeah, well, the ECW mole in 97, there was a lot of controversy with Bill Alfonso and Todd Gordon because, WCW was trying to get ECW wrestlers. And if I remember the story correctly, if any of you out there remember the match of Beulah McGillicuddy versus Bill Alfonso, where Bill Alfonso bled buckets, and he bled so much that he's looking at the camera and he's like, please stop the match. I can't keep going anymore. And they let it go and let it go and let it go. A lot of people to this day feel that that was his payback for, being involved in this a little bit. So, yeah, the Slammer, great memories of the Slammer. But, he always teased 900 stuff. I mean, he got stuff from Meltzer's Dirt Sheet once in a while. I mean, he wasn't one to break much news, but he would recap a lot of news for the week. But the Slammer was a fun part of growing up as a wrestling fan and depending on the newspaper. And then doing a wrestling hotline and then possibly doing some work with the guys, that was pretty cool as well, but it didn't end up. I passed it up. King Novak, did WrestleMania prove that Sasha Banks is the best in-ring talent in the WWE Women's Division? I don't know if I would call her the best in-ring talent. I mean, Asuka, see, this is the thing. Asuka's arsenal is different than Sasha's. It's different than Charlotte's. It's different than Bayley's. It's different than a lot of women in the company. But Sasha Banks, her personality, her character, her dedication, her look, I mean, everything about her, she is top notch. So I will not be surprised if Sasha Banks is the Women's Wrestler of the Year in like Pro Wrestling Illustrated and other places. As of right now, we're about almost a third of the way into the year. I would put Sasha Banks number one. I wouldn't even hesitate. And the funny thing is, a lot of people out there that feel that these magazines don't have any merit whatsoever, if they put one of their favorites as number one, then suddenly the magazine is all legit and everything. Sasha Banks, I don't like comparing her to Asuka and Charlotte because they're so different. But right now, I still think Charlotte is number one. I know that angers a lot of people out there, but I still feel Charlotte is number one. I think Sasha is giving a very good argument that she should be considered on the level of Asuka. Asuka is a very special talent as well. But you got to remember, too, you're only as good as your opponent. You got to really be able to mesh with your opponents. And that's something that a lot of people feel Charlotte does not do well. A lot of people feel Charlotte doesn't sell for others. Sasha sells beautifully for her opponents. Asuka does also. So, right now, I would not argue with Sasha Banks being Wrestler of the Year. So, she definitely has earned it. She's earned it. And me, for a long time, I was not very much a Sasha Banks fan. And she won me over. And she's great. She's great. That laugh is a little annoying. I mean, 2-3 months ago when she did it once or twice, I never in a million years ever think that would become part of her character. I remember bringing it up here. I'm like, what the fuck is that laugh tonight? And now it's part of her shtick. David Peralta, congrats, my friend. He got the second shot from Pfizer. And yes, my pleasure, my friend. I wasn't bullshitting when I offered to everyone out there, if you live in the United States, if you were having a hard time finding an appointment because they would get used up so quickly, reach out to me and I'll do what I can. And I think total, I've booked 91 appointments for people. And, it was my pleasure. I didn't take anything for it. Some people offered me money. I helped a couple of customers in my office too. I've helped some family members. I'm not going to lie. But I'm glad. And by the way, this controversy with this Johnson & Johnson stuff, they're doing the right thing to look into this further. But what I'm finding out is that most of these women that got these blood clots were taking some other type of medication that looks like clashed with the vaccine. And the thing is that when you go for the shot, on the questionnaire, it specifically says, are you taking any other medications? You're supposed to reach out, and this is advice. I'm not a doctor, so don't take it as anything but an opinion. My opinion is, anyone out there that is going to look into getting the vaccine, talk to your doctor first, especially if you're taking any type of medication at all. Talk to your doctor first. Let your doctor be the one to tell you it's safe. Not Trump, not Biden, not Fauci. Let your doctor, somebody that you know personally, let them be the one to tell you it's safe. I'm fully vaccinated since the middle of February. I have no side effects whatsoever. You know, I thank God, knock on wood, you know, I'm doing fine. But, you know, I'm glad that you're doing well, man. Seriously. And much love to everyone out there who is going to get it or just got it. And, you know, I truly believe the quicker everybody gets vaccinated, the quicker this virus will be gone. New York, the numbers are starting to drop significantly. And you think about it. You know, we had Easter, and the numbers still dropped significantly. You have Valentine's Day. Everybody took their significant others out. The numbers still dropped. So I think June and July is going to be the time. In fact, you see, Nick Khan, the other white meat. Nick Khan said this week that they're going to return to house shows. But when they do it, they obviously want to make sure it's safe, and they're not going to tease. They're either going to go on the road, you know, and go full blown, or nothing at all. And they are returning to it. And that's why I was so outspoken about that. I know I annoyed a lot of you out there bringing it up so many times over the last months. These people who kept telling you that WWE and AEW will never go back to house shows ever again, that was just clickbait. It was just all of the bullshit stuff you read is clickbait. And then when it ends up not happening, WWE changed their mind. Vince McMahon had a change of heart. They don't have any contacts to Vince McMahon. They just know Vince will not go on publicly and not going to do a TikTok video and saying, "Ringside News, you're a liar." They know he ain't going to answer. I could go online and I can put bullshit up every single day and nobody's going to question me based on certain people. Oh, and I love the people out there that tweet fucked everybody. Oh, I caught COVID at WrestleMania. I caught COVID. Tell the world I caught COVID. Then people are like, look, block out your date of birth and your address. Put up the test result. Let's see. Not one person that I'm aware of posted their test result. There's some very weird things that people do for attention out there. So I'm glad you're doing better, my friend David. The W emailed me March 31st. Yes, I did get it. Let the bodies hit the floor. I actually ordered it Tuesday. I'll send you the details tomorrow. I'm going to go through all my emails tomorrow. But yeah, I already took care of it for you. So you're all good to go. I do remember that. It was the trivia, like, I think, don't tell me. It was, Macho Man shirt. Don't super chat that, but just write in the chat room, right or wrong. I think it was the Macho Man shirt that you wanted. I think that's what it was. Edward G, yeah, I still got that cross scarlet photo for you, my friend. If you want something else instead, let me know. Because, you know, I was looking at it the other day. I'm like, should I just give it away to someone else or should I just hold it? But if you want something else instead, my friend, you know, just reach out to me and I'll take care of you. When he was a kid and scared of Terry Funk when he beat up Mel Phillips, that's when wrestling was real. That's when I became a huge Terry Funk fan. I'm not going to lie. We had no idea at the time Mel Phillips was the creep that he was. I will tell you, going to a couple of local shows and him being around, there was just something about him that just seemed a little bit creepy. I never saw him like look at anybody weird. I never saw him focusing on anybody's feet or shoes. There was just something weird about the guy. When Terry Funk just beat the crap out of him simply because Mel Phillips put on his cowboy hat. And I remember Vince, ha ha ha! Oh, what did you do? I became a Terry Funk fan. Then shortly after that, when he did the Saturday Night's Main Event and spit that glob of tobacco in the monitor, and didn't they do the Exorcist music in the background? I think they played the Exorcist music with Terry Funk. You won't see that on Peacock or the WWE Network because they've dubbed over it. But man, I became a Terry Funk fan like this, and he's always been my favorite ever since. I absolutely cherish, and I've sold almost all of my memorabilia over the years. Now I'm giving some of it away, obviously. In fact, next week or the week after, we're going to give away on this show, I have a signed Chris Benoit photo. I know it's a little bit morbid. I was thinking of selling it and giving it to charity, but I thought, hey, I'm not going to besmirch anybody who, appreciates Benoit, the wrestler, even though he did commit murder, double murder. But I have that. I have a signed Eddie Guerrero photo. I got some other collectible stuff. We're going to give it away over here. But Terry Funk writing a 2-page letter to me when I got engaged, I mean, that's just something that blew me away. And then going all the way to Connecticut to watch him fight lowlife Louis Ramos. And for anyone out there, if you ever come across Louis, you always see his front tooth is chipped in half. I don't think he's ever fixed it. And the reason why he would never fix it is because he broke his tooth fighting Terry Funk. Lowlife Louie and myself, we drove to Connecticut, and I watched him wrestle Terry Funk. Loved every minute of it, and talked to Terry Funk at that time, and I said, Terry, this was only a couple of years after he gave me all that stuff. I said, Terry, I will never, ever forget, the kind gesture. And he's like, you don't know how much that hurt my hand. And I fucking laughed my ass off, but got to hang out with him. He had a big autograph table, picked his brain for an hour. I wanted to interview him on my hotline so bad, but I don't do guests, and I would have just been like in awe. It's not easy to interview someone who you absolutely just is your favorite of all time. But awesome man. Awesome man. I've told this story too. One time it broke my heart. Daphne was part of an autograph signing out in Long Island. I don't remember what the name it was, but I think it was the same event. If any of you remember, when the Dudleys first left WWE, they did an event, and they were charging $10,000 to do an autograph signing, I think. I'm pretty sure this was the same one, but Daphne was there, and I was supposed to pick her up, take her to the airport, and Terry Funk was there too. So when I went inside, she was right next to the table of Terry Funk, and I said hello, and he recognized me. I went to shake his hand, and I swear to you, I think his pinky was the size of my thumb. The arthritis in his hands was so bad, and if anybody goes back with my shows in the mid-2000s, you'll remember me talking about how sad it was to see his fingers all twisted and swollen. And then he did that video last year that, please don't ask me to sign autographs, and I can't do it. Know exactly what he's talking about. His fingers were fucked up 15 years ago. Could you imagine the pain he's going through now? Oh my God. But Terry Funk, man, always my favorite. Love this shirt, by the way. I wanted to wear it in tribute that it's the 24-year anniversary of him winning the title at Barely Legal. Happened this week. And, Herbert, thank you for your service, my friend. Fellow vet. And, yeah, it's business. Look, we don't like that everybody got released. But, they had a year of pay, and a lot of them did next to nothing. I mean, how long do you expect to just sit and get paid like that? Again, it sucks that WWE couldn't find better roles for some people, but not everybody is going to find success. Not everybody is meant to have a Hall of Fame career. Not everybody is going to click. Some wrestlers, end up getting let go for various reasons. Some end up prospering in other companies, and some don't. For every, Kurt Hawkins and Emma and Zack Ryder, who are now doing good stuff in Impact Wrestling, even TJP, and you look at some others. For every one of those, there's the Highlanders. I'm trying to think of that other team. The Heartthrobs. There's some names that just fade away. I remember especially when the Highlanders were, I'm Rory, I'm unemployed. And they just disappeared into oblivion. They were just gone. I'm not saying that's going to happen to any of these, but there's a few, unfortunately, I'm a little concerned about. But we'll get into them in a minute. Herbert, again, thank you for your service, my friend. Much love, much love, much love. Khan! Can I give him a con for $1.2 million? You're $1,999,998 short. But I'll give it to you anyway. Con! AEW, $1.2 million. See, he wasn't talking money, he was talking viewers. Didn't we just have the conversation yesterday that in a very short time, AEW was going to do $1.2 million? We actually said yesterday, now that wasn't my prediction yesterday. My prediction, I think, was 965 or 955. But I did say yesterday specifically, in a very short amount of time, AEW is going to do $1.2 million. I didn't realize it was going to happen as quickly as yesterday, but they did. Look, good for WWE and NXT, and good for AEW. I will tell you, I already have the quarter-hour ratings for both shows. I don't have it here tonight. I will get into it tomorrow. I will save some suspense and tell you right now that Mike Tyson's involvement in Chris Jericho versus Dax Harwood was the highest-rated quarter of the night. 1,350,000 viewers, I believe it was. I think 1,350,000. The opening match of the Young Bucks versus Pac and Ray Phoenix did very well too. I think it actually may have done a little less than 1.2 million. But all throughout the night, the numbers were almost, I think it was over 1 million every quarter, maybe with the exception of one. And the main event did pretty damn good as well. AEW maintained their viewers all night long. WWE and NXT also did a good job. And I tell you, if you rewind this tomorrow, what I'm saying now, and when I do the actual numbers, if you say to me, DT, all the numbers you said were exactly the same, that blows me away to have this kind of memory right now. Because you know sometimes I get brain farts. Now I'm throwing out specific. I think this is specific. The main event for NXT, the 8-person tag match, I think that scored 925,000 viewers. That might have been the overrun. But they were right around 900,000 viewers for the main event. So WWE also maintained a decent audience all night long. So, yeah, we'll get into that tomorrow for sure. Tyree Jones, fantasy booking. 2 of the toughest superstars in a hardcore match. He goes with Brock Lesnar versus New Jack. Brock Lesnar, man, because of his MMA, because of how much of a badass he is, I think he could literally, he puts you in a submission move, that's it. That's it. I mean, there's some wrestlers that are legitimate badasses. I mean, New Jack, as much as I love that guy, and, you know, we tell stories over the years of some of the interactions with him, he scares the shit out of me as well. You know, when he thought that time that I was going to wrestle him in Florida, I got a screenshot my social media, my Facebook account, my personal one, because I still got it, but I don't go on there anymore. But I still have all the posts, and I got a screenshot for you. The way this man threatened me, it scared the shit out of me. I woke up from a deep sleep at 2:30 in the morning. I think it was Mish, that was sending me DMs, and I usually fall asleep with my computer on, and I hear ding-a-ding, ding-a-ding, ding-a-ding. I'm like, who the fuck is what? And I'm looking, DT, you got to look at your Facebook. You got to look at your page. You got to look at your page. And there's all these death threats from New Jack because there was some miscommunication. And he thought, Frank, I swear to God, I'm retiring. You put this fat fuck against me, I will fucking slice him and kill him. I don't care what he's done for me. I will kill. And the funny thing is, there's a couple of podcasts out there that trying to start shit with yours truly. Not any of the names we always bring up saying, oh, DT always makes the shows about himself. Well, what the fuck you think this channel is? This channel is my stuff, and we're family here. So we try to talk amongst us. But New Jack is insane, man. As far as hardcore, though, I would go with Foley and Funk, only because the amount of abuse that they took in Japan, I mean, they just don't care. I mean, especially Terry Funk, I will never forget. And I'm sorry if this is about me. Only I saw it when I did the timekeeping for when Terry Funk fought Shane Douglas in XPW Hostile Takeover. And as much as I don't like that guy Slash, you know, when he walked back into the building when Shane Douglas and Terry Funk were brawling outside. In fact, I think I played the video here on one of the episodes of Thursday. When Slash walked back in, his face was white as a ghost. And he's like, and we were like, what is he talking about? Terry Funk goes in the ring like this, and you see the muscles inside his arm. He fucking sliced his own arm with a bottle. It's sick. And I've watched the raw footage of it, and I guess he was just trying to make himself bleed a little bit. But I still, to this day, don't understand why he would slice the inner part. They usually go like this, not trying to get, but to go here, and then he's in the ring like this, and you see muscle. That was sick. And then I remember, I'll never forget, and if any of you out there, if you ever talk to Shane Douglas, he will tell you what I'm saying is 1,000% right. After the event was over and everybody ran to the back and Terry Funk was being put in the ambulance, Shane Douglas was throwing fucking furniture everywhere, throwing chairs, throwing this, because he was very concerned about Terry Funk, but he was like, fuck, why did you do this? He was concerned, but also livid because the State Athletic Commission and Ring of Honor and Mike Johnson and Bob McGee and all those goofs were doing everything possible to get XPW pulled out of Philly. And that happened, and that was scary, scary shit, man. So that's why I choose those two, especially Terry Funk. Give me Terry Funk versus anybody. So thank you, Neil Ray says, DT, thank you for all you do. Amazing for helping out people get appointments for vaccines. My dad, you know, he's still very so-so. My father just won't stop. He went to Jersey today with my brother to buy flowers so they could sell it for Mother's Day. My father only knows one speed, and that's full speed ahead. And, you know, he thinks that keeping him busy will strengthen his heart and everything else. But, you know, I could tell that a lot of his pain is taken out on my mom, because I noticed the last 2 weeks when I go to see her, you know, she really enjoys the company. And I say, how's everything? You know, and she doesn't want to come out and say it, but my father is hurting big time. But, you know, and it kind of hit me this week realizing, wow, both my parents have major heart surgery. That's why I got to really cherish the time with them. You know, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm looking into another computer and another camera. I have a two view. I got a webcam too. I always do this when we do footage. There's another webcam right next to each other. I could pull the webcam because the video quality doesn't look too bad. And I'm going to set up shop over at the parents' house so I could spend a little bit extra time over there, but do video. I go there every Tuesday, but I should be there also another day during the week. And the reason why, you know, it gets a little difficult is because I can't do video from over there. So I'm actually I'm looking into getting another computer and getting another camera. And although my backdrop will probably just be, you know, like black, you know, board with, you know, felt to block out some of the echo, it's not going to be set up like this. But so that may be coming in a couple of months. It's not going to be overnight. And Dogecoin blew up, and he made $2,400 in one day. Good for you, my friend. We were talking about Dogecoin on Tuesday. You know that. Dogecoin with the stock market. You know, Coinbase just went up on the market too. Cryptocurrency is one thing that I haven't gotten into. My financial advisor has asked me, what's your thoughts on cryptocurrency? And I said, I'm very, very fearful about Bitcoin. I just can't see it staying at $60,000. That's some scary shit. You buy 1 or 2 Bitcoins and it goes down. Because we were talking about it on Tuesday. What a lot of people don't know is that Bitcoin 5 years ago was about $100. I think back in 2011, Bitcoin was 38 cents. Like 10. It's crazy how much that is blown. 5 years ago, $100. You invested $138 and that turned into $62,000. Oh my God. I mean, it just blows me away. But I'm happy for you, man. I'm glad. I like when to see good things happen to you all out there. And again, you know, the office still stands. If any of you out there, as long as you live in the United States, I don't care what state it is, if you need some help getting an appointment for a vaccine, whether it's for you or for a family member, just email me, dontony@dontony.com. Be prepared. If you want me to go all the way and set up the appointments, I'm going to end up needing some personal info, like your date of birth, full name, address, maybe even your social security number, depending on what state you live in. But I'll get it done. I'll get it done. And, you know, much love to you, Neil. Much love. You know that, my friend. Thank you. Ted Turner, tell us about George Napolitano. I'm not going to lie. I barely ever interacted with George Napolitano. Georgia Macropolis, a couple of times going to the Madison Square Garden, sitting ringside. She introduced me once or twice. But the thing is, you know, I never got to hang out backstage. When WWF was at the Ridgewood Grove Arena, because my uncle worked for them, that's when I got the opportunity to meet wrestlers and get a little bit of, you know, extra, you know, on the side, you know, hanging out, autographs, pictures, whatever. But George Napolitano, you know, when you get to the Garden, like an hour before showtime, you know, he'll stand around ringside with Blackjack Brown, and they'll be taking pictures. I think Paul Heyman also took some pictures at the time as well. And they would just hang out and, you know, briefly mingle. But after that, they're in the locker room taking pictures of the wrestlers. They're back at ringside. They're busy all night long. Never really had a chance to interact with them. But I will tell you, a lot of people loved George Napolitano. Honestly, back then, I mean, I don't remember Paul Heyman doing photography. I was at a couple of shows where he took pictures, but I don't remember ever seeing him and someone saying to me, oh, that's Paul Heyman, or that's Paul, teenager. I don't recall ever seeing a teenager taking pictures at ringside, but I remember Blackjack Brown and I remember George Napolitano. And absolutely everybody said nothing but good things about them. They really, you know, Blackjack Brown got a little bit of hate later on because people felt they were being ripped off with the 900 lines. But the amount of money that they were making off of 900 numbers, oh my God, you don't know. I mean, anybody goes back to the Minority Report days, remember what happened, because I talked about it on the hotlines back then. They offered me to do the 900 line with them, and I said, I got no sources. Back in the late, you know, 99, 2000, 2001, I really didn't have sources. You know, I started getting a couple of people maybe around 02, 03 once I started actually doing work inside wrestling. But, you know, when Blackjack Brown said to me, don't worry about it. You don't need sources. You don't need sources. Just tease a tease. You know, like I expected sooner or later fans that blew crazy amounts of money on the 900 numbers showing up at my door threatening me. In fact, I'll tell you one quick story that you'll get a kick out of. Some of you know this already, and if you think I'm exaggerating, Tommy Dreamer is very accessible. You could ask him. You could ask anybody that worked behind the scenes for ECW back around 96. They will tell you what I'm going to say is 1,000% accurate. I ate up so much of my mother's phone bill because back then ECW had a hotline. This was right before Brian Pillman had his 1-900-909 pill. Well, memory's pretty good tonight. But they had a wrestling hotline. And Joey Styles would be the one that would do a lot of the options. Press 1 for this, press 2 for this, press 3 for this. But you could also do trivia. And what would happen is you would call the hotline. You would not be able to press the button for the trivia right away because it was like $1.49 a minute or $1.99 a minute. I don't remember exactly how much it was a minute, but it was expensive. And you had to stay on the line for a certain amount of time before you could play the trivia. And what happened was they would ask you 5 questions. It would be random. And if you got all 5 right, you would, at the beep, leave your name and your address, and they would mail you a prize. It was usually an ECW hat. So I called the hotline once, and I did the trivia, and I got like 3 out of 5 right. I didn't win nothing. So I called like 2 days later, and I tried the trivia again. I didn't get them all right again. I think the 3rd or 4th time, it asked the same questions that it asked before. So I didn't know which answers I got right or which ones I got wrong. I don't remember, but I got the questions again, so I answered them and I got it right. So then I realized that they only had about 25 questions total, and they would ask you 5. So in rotation, I would call their hotline like 2 or 3 times a week, and I would do the trivia, and I must have won about 30 or 40 prizes. I get a shirt, I get a hat, I get this, I get that. You would just call the line, and they kept that, who was the first ECW champion? You get it right. I can't tell you how. They must have gotten so sick and tired. Fuck, who's this guy? Again? This guy again, but they had so few questions in rotation. Who did the Eliminators defeat? Ridiculous, man. You have no idea how many prizes I got back then. But if you ever talked to anybody that worked back then, you ask them, say, what happened with the ECW hotline with all those prizes? You know, it's 100% true. So, wow, I'm almost to the last super chat right now, and then we will get into the rest of the names who were let go. We'll do a little of the wrestling video retro stuff. We'll do the contest, and we'll get out of here. We're already doing 90 minutes. This was awesome. You know what? Sam says I beat the system. Listen, those videotapes were like $20, $24 or whatever it is. And you realize when I started dubbing videos and selling them on eBay, when the Beulah, Penthouse video, the Silver Bullet video came out, and then don't ask me why it was on that tape too, but Tanya Harding had the wedding video, the honeymoon, she, you know the deal. Pamela Anderson's on the boat with Tommy Lee. Kimono Wanalea did it. I took all and Chastity and Live Bait. I still have the original Live Bait porn, by the way. It's locked up in a box. So I wonder if it's worth anything, but I took those 5 scenes, I put it on a VHS tape, and I was selling them on eBay for like, I don't know, I think I was selling them $15 a pop. And then I started looking into videotapes, and then I realized I could buy videotapes for 99 cents, and then it hit me like, motherfucker, ECW would sell tapes for $25, and it only cost them 99 cents. Then I got to, talk to Rob Feinstein a little bit, and then realized the crazy ass money that was being made off of this shit. So trust me, calling the hotline and spending $6 to get a $20 hat, I think it was kind of like payback for all the money I spent on their shit. You have no idea the amount of money they would make on that stuff, man. So, Mistech? What's my evaluation of Biden's work as president so far? To me, he's like non-existent. To me, it feels like everybody is in his ear, and he's going along with pretty much anything that is being told. I think a lot of people told him, we will get you the presidency, but once you're president, basically everyone else is taking over. That's why you see what's happening with the threats of the Supreme Court, being added for people. You see the stuff at the border and all this shit going on. You see the tax hikes, this and that. Honestly, I don't think some of the proposals that they're making are going to happen, because next year is the midterm elections already. Believe it or not, next year is already midterm elections. And if they start radically changing things, you're going to see Republicans take over the House and the Senate again. And then before you know it, 2024 is here in the presidential election. I personally think they're just keeping a seat warm for Kamala Harris. Honestly, after all the shit that happened last year and all the politicizing of this virus, and seeing the shit that was happening even in my neck of the woods with Cuomo and de Blasio, and seeing how, just think about this. I don't want to get into a whole rant about this, but just think about this. You get vaccinated, you have less than 1% chance of getting COVID again. So 99%. I know what they say about Moderna, it's not, but the point is, you have almost no chance of getting the vaccine again. They have yet to explain to anyone out there, if you're fully vaccinated, why do you have to still wear a mask? Me, I wear it. I don't mind. To me, it's a sign of respect. The people around me have no idea if I've been vaccinated or not. And I know I've said that before. So by me wearing a mask, the people around me could feel a little comfortable. I'm fully vaccinated. But at least be honest. At least be honest. About a month ago, CDC came out and said that people who are vaccinated cannot carry the virus, cannot transmit it, cannot do this, cannot do that, blah, blah, blah. And right away, you saw a couple of groups on social media all say, fuck it, I'm not wearing masks no more. Fuck this shit. Fuck this shit. I don't care if there's a mask mandate. They pulled back. And then they watered it down to grandma could hug grandkids again if they've been vaccinated. And then you realize it's a fucking game. The reason why everybody who's vaccinated still have to wear masks and still have to do all this stuff is because for the underprivileged areas that are very uncomfortable about the vaccine because of everything that was fed to them from Trump and everything else, that if those people see people who are vaccinated being able to go out and have fun and don't have to wear a mask, everybody else is going to be like, fuck this, I'm not wearing a mask. And that's it. All chaos ensues. So they want to keep the scare. They do not yet. You ever hear them explain why you still have to do this, and this if you are fully vaccinated? Because they don't want to start a chain reaction of everybody just saying, fuck this. You know what's going to happen? Remember I said this. Because last March, when I said they're going to have vaccination cards, and some of you said, oh, that's NWO shit, you're crazy, this, I told you it was going to happen. But mark my words when I say this. In 6 months from now, maybe a little less, maybe a little more, but about 6 months from now, when this virus is really under control and the pandemic is over, you're going to realize that all of the crazy restrictions that they kept on people who are vaccinated were not necessary. And then you're going to realize that they made people who are vaccinated still lose a lot of their privileges because of people who are not vaccinated. Plain and simple. That's why, honestly, as far as Biden, I hope he does a good job, but I didn't vote for either president last year. I don't give a shit anymore. I worry about me, my family, my relationship, all of you, my hobbies, my health. That's it. I don't give a shit what happens anymore. I don't care if we get 30 trillion in debt. I mean, I do care about my neighbors, and I care about, but as far as politics go, I'm done. I'm done. Because there's nothing that I could say or do that's going to change any of that shit. So I'm going to just try to enjoy myself, and anything that I can get that I'm entitled to, I'm taking it. I'm taking it. So that's my feeling of Biden right now. Was I ever really into gangster movies? Not really. I was into gangster movies more like Goodfellas and Godfather because I'm Italian, and a lot of my roots go back to the Italy and Sicily, and some of the stories that you're told back in the day kind of reflects it. And since I'm now in Howard Beach and I've been around this area since the late 80s, seeing a lot of what you saw in Goodfellas actually was true. I'm not saying this as being proud or bragging, but members of John Gotti's family went to my wedding in '99. I was in the newspaper delivering catering when he was let go, one of his first trials that he had. So I was around it. I don't like it. I'm not happy. I take pride that my father never joined the mob, but more of the mob movies that hit home, with the exception of New Jack City. Because for some reason, I love New Jack City. Rockabye, baby. I mean, I sound like a goof doing it myself, but New Jack City, my God, I'm almost tempted now to watch it after we're done with the show tonight. But for me, it was more of the real, like, Italian ones, I never really looked into Blood In, Blood Out. But I'll go check it out. I mean, I'm not going to lie. If it doesn't keep me interested, I'll probably shut it off almost immediately. Boys in the Hood was good also. Boys in the Hood. Sure. Nero Fay, I got your last name right. Where do I like to travel overseas? I went to Italy in 1985. Went to Italy in 85. Had the time of my life. Went with my school, got drunk, passed out for a day and a half. I don't remember to this day. Woke up with a big hickey in my neck. I ended up fooling around with some 180-pound chick from Texas. I loved going to Italy at that time. I have tons of photos still. If anybody wants to see a couple of photos of yours truly in Italy, I'll put them up next week. But I don't really go out of the country. I always wanted to go to Australia, always wanted to go to the UK. The only problem is, I don't want to go alone, and there's not many people. In fact, you know what? A couple of years ago, we were seriously thinking about going to Japan because there was some travel packages for New Japan, but we just couldn't get people together. This person, talks out of their ass. This one doesn't have money. This one doesn't have this. This one can't get off of work. A lot of legitimate reasons. It's just, it's not easy to go. I mean, and believe me, if I get married, I don't even know if we're going to go out of the country. We kind of like going to Connecticut. Very, very, very beautiful atmosphere. The people there are nice. Just everything about it. And look, I went there 2 weeks ago. The video was on Twitter. I didn't put it here. I don't want to paint anybody to go through it, but I ended up hitting for over $3,000 playing games. In fact, the reason why there was no Breakfast Soup Raw last Monday was because I ended up staying an extra night. We literally decided to play for one more hour, and then we were going to head back home. And then I hit $1,000, 4,000 quarters on the Wheel of Fortune thing, and I posted the video. It was pretty weird that weekend because I still have like 3 or 4 videos I haven't put up of hitting like $400 here, $700 here. I think I post one of $880. It feels like Monopoly money until you go home and there's like a stack of 20s like this. And I haven't spent any of it yet, but I do owe about $1,500 to IRS for last year's taxes. So, and thank you, Roger. I appreciate that. It's not the most popular thing to do, to be straight up. Talking about the releases is a perfect example of that. But I love being straight up with everyone out there. I'd rather be honest and tell you how I feel, because something tells me a lot of you truly feel the way I do in a lot of ways, but maybe don't want to speak out on it because you got the cancel culture out there and you got the gang mentality, and I see what happens. I don't want to cause any controversy, but you got someone tuning in live right now by the name of Austin. He's a really good guy, and he knows point blank. He posts my shit on other certain outlets out there. He'll post a thread for my show, he'll post this, and 99 times out of 100, everybody ignores him. They won't say a word. They won't like it. They won't acknowledge it. They will just ignore his ass because, you know, I'm unpopular with a lot of people out there. And I will not change. I will not change. We're family over here, even though I know most of you out there, you know, I don't ever communicate with, but you and I is what I can. Yeah, Sam does it too. I mean, you praise somebody and people don't like, they go after you. And I feel bad for people out there that happens to. So, Botch Club on Instagram and TikTok. He wants to gift me, him and his Wrestle Daily first official TV T-shirt, COVID 316. Absolutely, man. You know what you do? If you have email me, dontony@dontony.com. If you want to send me the shirt, you know, I'll give you my address, extra large, and I'll wear it on the show. I'll be proud to wear it on the show. Absolutely. Thank you for that. So, let me show you the first of 3 videos. The second one is only about 2 minutes long. The third one, which is the actual match, is the longest one of the 3. The first one is probably only like 3 or 4 minutes too. But since a lot of you out there were enjoying the retro stuff and have been asking for it, you know, I figured, okay, I'll play it for everyone. After this first one, I'll get into more of the releases. We'll do the second one, then we'll do the contest, and then we'll do the last video, and then we'll wrap it up with some other discussion. So don't forget, tomorrow night after SmackDown, I'll be right here. SmackDown recap, AEW and NXT quarter-hour ratings, any additional releases that go down, and some other tidbits that come up as well. Definitely no Captain Lenny tonight. I think next week I'll bring Captain Lenny back. Because like I said, I don't want to burn through all my shit too quickly. I'm not trying to milk it either. But, you know, I want it to be a little bit more special than just go through it for a couple of months and then have virtually nothing left over. But this is about 15 years ago. And this basically just sets up a match that goes down a little bit later. And this puts a big smile on my face because my friend Timmy Arson, a.k.a. the ECW Zombie, who is no longer with us, he was featured in this as well. And I get to show in the upcoming weeks me managing the Zombie one night for a match. And I miss that man. I loved doing the hotline with him. Still have the original Blackhearts shirt. Remember, it's Zombie, Damage, Arson, Funker. That was the names on the back. And the guy was just a good guy. As bad as the ECW Zombie thing was in WWE's ECW, for me, I cried. You know, not wailing, but I cried happy tears that night. It felt like, you know, a member of the family like got to WWE television. So that was pretty awesome. So you'll see how, you know, the Zombie actually factors into the beginning of this video and the end of this video. So I will, as always, do this, and then I will do this.
The Zombie!
And Jason Stark has blood on his head.
He has blood on his head?
I think he's busted open.
How is he busted open?
Where are his 2 friends, Joseph and Richard?
I don't know. The Zombie being guided out by Della Morte. Oh, Jason Staten. Oh my goodness, he's attacking our cameraman. He's whining. What?
Another one. Is he insane?
Another what? Another challenge? He's getting a little cocky now. continues between Jay Static and the Grim Reaper. The fans love him, accompanied by the newly changed Don Tony.
About 6'4". 6'4". Right.
Like an old train wrapped around my head. What's next? You want to go? Huh? Think about your thing. Listen. I'm glad we found time.
The dog was only on one show. We didn't want to take a chance after he fell that time.
Everybody is a true record holder.
And you want a piece of anybody? You're flapping away. Did I already beat you up, kid? How much more muscles do you need to beat me? There's not enough muscles. Let me tell you something.
Oh my goodness.
Anytime you want, anywhere, it don't matter. I'll beat you up again. What do I say about that?
Oh wait, who's this? Oh, there it is. There's Joe So Delicious and Sabotage. Oh, come on. They're beating him down. Oh, here's Mac Daddy Flex.
I like Mac Daddy Flex. He was pretty good, man. Shame with Joe So Delicious. Rest in peace, Joe. Rest in peace.
Back elbow. Oh, he scurries out.
The match I play for you later, you're going to love it. I promise you. I'm not hyping it up. You will love it.
Oh, we're going to see that later tonight, Earl. They're going to settle the score.
Ladies and gentlemen, winner of tonight's match, Jason Static. Let me tell you something. You want a piece of us in a tag team match? Let's do it tonight.
Oh, there we go, Earl. A tag team match.
We'll see who got it.
There we have it. It's Reaper and Flex taking on Sabotage and Joe So Delicious.
Oh, what happened to that open challenge, Earl? I thought Jason Static wanted one more.
I don't know.
I guess Reaper wasn't the guy he was expecting or wanted. Oh, I can't wait.
Can you imagine how this is going to affect the championship tournament that's coming up in October?
Oh my goodness.
No promos this time.
Salivating until October.
Sometimes you had to take. Sometimes you had to take the sideline. In fact, I'll show you the promo now. I'll do the second one now. It's only about a minute and a half. I don't say anything. So sometimes you had to take a step back, which is the right way to go.
All right, this is Jerry Fitzwater here with these men. Now, I don't, Grim Reaper, what happened? We just saw you were attacked by Joe So Delicious and Sabotage. Now, luckily, the big man here came in. I don't know, clear this up for me, please.
There's nothing to clear up. You saw what you saw. I don't know if you saw it with your hair flying in your eyes.
It's not bad.
Hey, look. Delicious, Sabotage, Static. You thought you had one up me, right? You thought I had no backup. But look no further, my man. Ozone Park, Queens, New York. I bought the Big Reef. Big Grim Reaper. Yo, Reef, hit him off. Tell him what you're gonna do.
I'll tell you something. We both have a common history with the man they called Jay Static, right? Jay Static, you're in trouble. Let me tell you something. You got this little shit coming around, Sabotage. You got, what's the other guy's name?
Juicy Joe Delicious.
Juicy Joe Delicious.
Ultra sexy Joe So Delicious. Please.
I know, look, shh.
Okay, all right.
We're talking, bro. Let me tell you something. Another friend we have is the man they call Zombie. He did Zombie wrong, you're gonna have to pay the price. We got Big Don T in the background, you don't stand a chance. I'm gonna send him packing. Should send you packing too.
Where am I going?
With your cool microphone.
Nice hair.
What are these buttons?
Don't press the buttons. No, nothing. I decided to color code it, but I don't know. All right. Well, we have a degree of professionalism here. Here in DPW, we pride ourselves on our professionalism. Can't wait for this match. All right, guys. Jerry Fitzwater, back to you.
Some people will say, that was your finest work, DT. Keeping my mouth shut for a change. Whoa, what's up with that? Yeah, so those are the first two. So let's talk about some of these additional releases. I have the list over here. So we talked about Samoa Joe already. We also talked about Mickie James. Mojo Rawley, we touched on earlier. Mojo Rawley, with all due respect, man, that guy was there for 7 years. I think the guy made a very good paycheck, and he was an ambassador also. I mean, let's be honest. The guy did a lot of stuff behind the scenes for WWE. You'd be surprised. The thing is, though, 7 years later, his status in wrestling really has not improved all that much. So, and, once Gronk stood in football, that kind of left him in limbo. And he shouldn't have needed Gronk to really, to do much, but they tried a few times, man. They tried attitude changes. They gave him the mirror thing, which fell flat. He had potential, and he could still return. I mean, a lot of people seem to forget. A couple of years ago, Drew McIntyre was fired. Jinder Mahal was let go. Yes, Jinder Mahal hasn't done much lately, but, some people have come back and come back better than ever. So Mojo Rawley, it might be better for him to try to find a little bit more of an identity somewhere else. And not simply, I got a chip on my shoulder, I got something to prove and this and that, because then, you end up settling in mediocrity. Right now, I don't know where would be best for Mojo Rawley. The weird thing is, I kind of see him fitting in Impact Wrestling more than anything else. I don't know why. Just Impact Wrestling, for some reason, seems to feel like that's probably a good fit. By the way, there's 2 super chats, not wrestling related. I will answer in a moment. One of them, absolutely, well, I don't like saying absolutely love, but one touched on an actor that is very dear to my heart. So Mojo Rawley, we'll see what happens. Yeah, I could see him doing something with Matt Cardona in Impact Wrestling. I see Mojo Rawley Impact Wrestling more than anything else. Bo Dallas, first of all, I blame all you motherfuckers out there that kept insisting that Bo Dallas was under the Bray Wyatt stuff. That's not Bray Wyatt, that's Bo Dallas. All right, so we'll let him go now so you can shut all up. Now, I'm only kidding. Bo Dallas is involved in real estate. I kind of compare Bo Dallas' situation with Ted DiBiase Jr. Ted DiBiase Jr. was let go many years ago and really is out of wrestling. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Sean Stasiak. They found a career outside of wrestling. And Bo Dallas has been involved in a lot of real estate, and especially coming out of COVID, and especially where he lives. This is probably the most opportune time for him to make crazy money in the real estate market. So Bo Dallas will be fine. Of course, it sucks because we always thought more of him. We thought that he could have done something with Bray Wyatt, could have been part of the Wyatt family. They could have done a few things. I mean, I remember the Bo Leave stuff as well. But Bo Dallas, I know it's a shame that, we're not going to see him wrestle all that much. He's still very young, so he could still come back to wrestling later on. But I kind of feel it's mirroring the career of Ted DiBiase Jr. And as every year goes by, a little more, you forget about him. But I think Bo Dallas is doing quite nicely right now. So props to Bo Dallas. I mean, when you have a family, history in wrestling, and, you get into the business, it must be very, very difficult to walk away from it. But, if this is what he loves to do, God bless him. I wish him nothing but the best. It's a shame to see him go, but he's not doing anything right now anyway. So, hopefully he kills it on the real estate market. Wesley Blake, we'll always remember him mostly for Blake and Murphy, which was a pretty damn good tag team in NXT. But once they got rid of Steve Cutler, I think the writing was on the wall for Wesley Blake. Unfortunately, it never fit in with the main roster. And again, for those out there that might be a little bit disappointed that they let go Wesley Blake, I ask you, what would you have done with him right now? You know, the thing is, each one of these people, you can have an argument, what would you have done? Again, it's very easy to write, you know, certain things on social media, but, you know, people just write the complaint, but they don't write what they would have done differently. Now, some of these names, I mean, obviously they could have done something with. And this leads to my next one, Chelsea Green. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Chelsea Green, there was so much potential with Chelsea Green. She got injured twice, I believe. She got injured, I think, in NXT, and she got injured on SmackDown. Chelsea Green, though, has so much upside. I personally think it has nothing to do with Matt Cardona not being in the company. I don't even think it has much to do with her injuries. I think with Chelsea Green, when you look at that roster up and down, I don't see where Chelsea Green would have gotten any type of a push. She may have ended up becoming enhancement talent. Chelsea Green is too damn good to be enhancement talent. I mean, we talked about it yesterday. You look at WWE's roster of women, and yes, Raw might be a little bit thin, and SmackDown might be a little thin. You got Ronda Rousey coming back. You just got Charlotte back. You got Becky Lynch coming back. There's rumors of 1 or 2 NXT women being brought to the main roster. You can't even figure out how to use Carmella in a good way right now. Where are you going to put Chelsea Green? Where is she going to fit in? That's the problem. I think Chelsea Green is better released than to stay there and get no momentum and really don't go much anywhere, because there is at least 10 women on that roster that is going to get the push before she does. And I just don't see her breaking above. Not just the women coming back, but you go through Sasha Banks and Bayley, and you go through Charlotte and Asuka and Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair. I mean, and there's a lot of women I'm not even mentioning. Where are you going to put her? Where are you going to put her? She would have been squashed, and you're going to say, this is what you do to Chelsea Green? Kind of reminds me of what happened with Deonna Purrazzo. Do I think Chelsea Green is on the level of Deonna Purrazzo? No, but she could be. She could be. And I think WWE just realized, even with Deonna Purrazzo, Ty Conti. Ty Conti is another example. There are too many people ahead of her. And the thing is, you know, you could have kept her in NXT, but still, even in NXT, you know, you see even once in a while, they're having a hard time to keep in Xia Li, you know, with any type of, you know, push. And they haven't even really escalated her yet. She's been busy with Casey Catanzaro and Kaden Carter. So in the case of Chelsea Green, it's disappointing that she didn't do more in WWE, but I'd rather see her prosper, whether it's Impact, which I think she may end up going, AEW, MLW, Ring of Honor, NWA is a possibility. I'd rather see her prosper there. And then at another time, maybe she comes back. So as much as I think her career in WWE was a major disappointment, I think she will do fine elsewhere. And again, no reason why she can't come back later on. Tucker, I know he posted that tweet earlier, free at last. I have a lot to say. I have nothing against Tucker personally, but, you know, other than Heavy Machinery, Otis was the breakout of the group, and Tucker just didn't fit in. You took the Heavy Machinery outfit off of him, and he just looked like, you know, just a regular wrestler. Yes, WWE did not give him a different idea. Remember when I said Tucker would have been good in Retribution? I thought you paste his hair back, make him clean shaven, just make him really. I would have thought he would have been good in Retribution. Just a little bit of chip on his shoulder for how WWE treated him. Could have been part of the storyline. Tucker was let go. That was reported months ago. They had him back a little bit, but there's just nothing for him. My fear is that Tucker may end up being one of those people over the years that is let go and slowly, quietly just disappears. I hate to say it, but you get the feeling sometimes of people. I brought up the Highlanders earlier. I brought up the Heartthrobs earlier. There's a couple other wrestlers. Some names are escaping me right now, but there's some wrestlers who, once they were gone, they just slowly just disappeared. There's got to be a major character change for Tucker. He may have to change his look dramatically, because coming out there as the beloved, hillbilly thing, it's not going to work. It ain't going to work in this day and age. Maybe for little indie promotions here and there. Tucker, he may have to go to Japan. He's got to get a new identity for himself. I wish him well. I don't know. I don't know about Tucker's future. Out of everybody on this list, Bo Dallas, obviously, because it's his choice, but Tucker is the one that stands out to me that, unless there's a major transformation, I don't know what the future is for Tucker in wrestling. Just being honest, straight up. And these are just opinions, obviously. Kalisto, little tear to my eye. Anybody that follows me over the years knows I have a love-hate relationship with Kalisto. When he used to get whipped and would yell out in pain, it was somewhat orgasmic for yours truly. That Lucha thing, that promo will always be remembered. I wish I could do it here, but I don't want to get hit with any copyright strikes. But Kalisto, I think he had a decent WWE career. The problem is you got Rey Mysterio there. You got the Lucha House Party, which they like as a tag team, and the two members of the Lucha House Party, they get paid a lot less than Kalisto does. So Kalisto, I don't know what happens to him. I think Kalisto, again, might be a good fit for Impact Wrestling. I don't know about AEW. He could fit in AEW, but the problem is, AEW, I don't know how strong they are as far as bringing in more talent, like Lucha Libre talent. It would be good, but I don't know if Kalisto would be a great fit in AEW. I think Ring of Honor might actually be a decent spot for him to go, or MLW. I think MLW might be a great spot for Kalisto. Something tells me Kalisto's going to go to Mexico, and Kalisto may actually stay there for a little bit, and then maybe once, he gets reintroduced to wrestling fans without using the name Kalisto, then we could see, him return and, maybe get a job at one of those promotions. AAA is definitely a possibility. Hopefully he has not burned bridges there. I haven't heard any. So I wish him well. I think he really, had a decent career for WWE. But you remember, WWE also never really treated the Lucha House Party, for many years as more of just like, happy and wearing masks and lucha. And they kind of never focused on how great they were in the ring. You're seeing the Lucha House Party recently doing some NXT stuff. You realize, like, man, WWE was more into the gimmicks than actually the ability. And Kalisto, he was expendable. So Kalisto is done too. That leaves two women, the Iconics, Billie Kay and Peyton Royce. I talked at the very beginning of the show about Billie Kay. In my opinion, wrestling-wise, I have seen no improvement in the last bunch of years in the ring. Some people just never improve. I mean, the timing is important. You know, like I said, it seemed, I don't know if it was just a phobia or an injury issue. Not injured, but, you know, she just never took back bumps. I mean, again, you go back and look at WrestleMania when they did the turmoil match. And I commented that night when she would get hit, she like flails her arms and like goes sideways. And it just felt like she never improved. They tried to do the character of her with the resume. But the thing is, and I will acknowledge this, and I said it earlier, Billie Kay is one of the most beloved talents behind the scenes in WWE. Fans that have met her said she was a sweetheart. She comes off as a wonderful human being. A lot of people in the business, I said tonight, as far as emotionally, they made the biggest stink about Billie Kay, how they were going to miss her. Like, she was just bright energy, laughing, good vibes, and she is probably going to be missed, maybe almost out of everybody on this list. Let me also make out another point without causing controversy. I don't know if you all thought about this, and I'm going to go there because most people would not go there. You notice all of the tremendous outpouring of love towards Billie Kay online today, and not even 1/10 of it towards Peyton Royce. A lot of people in the business that were talking about Billie Kay today, how they were going to miss her and how wonderful and the vibe and everything else. You didn't see them say much about Peyton Royce. And when they did, they would just say, why did they break up the Iconics? And again, the Iconics without a live crowd, I think, would have just fell flat. Remember, you know, when they were around, a lot of us complained about that team, and especially about Billie Kay's wrestling ability. And right now, with the roster the way it is, this is what happens when you have a crazy, competitive women's roster. You know, what's happening is, even though WWE is a family, but it happens in every wrestling company, people want to go for theirs. They're not going to take the sidelines and allow someone else go for theirs. So they have to put on their A game. And when you have the upper tier talents like WWE does, and think about this. Yes, Bianca Belair has been on the main roster for a little while right now. But you think about a couple of months ago compared to now, and you realize that you have Charlotte back, Bianca Belair is a champion. Rhea Ripley's on the main roster. Io Shirai might be brought to the main roster. There's a lot of rumors about that. Becky Lynch is returning. Ronda Rousey's returning. And you start taking a step back and realizing how top tier this talent is. Those women that are just getting by for looks and for some storylines, they might be sweating right now about their jobs. And I think some jobs are secure. I mean, again, I did not like when anybody was name dropping people that should have been released. I saw a lot of people showing a lot of shade to Dana Brooke today. How do you keep Dana Brooke, but you let this person go? You know, not every single person on the roster has to put out a 4-star match. Some characters are necessary. There's got to be diverse. It's not diverse just on skin color or nationality. It's also the type of characters. That's why you have behemoths like Omos that only needs to do a couple of power moves and that's it. And there's got to be a nice blend. So the more you get these upper tier talents coming in, it's going to be at the price for others. And what's going to happen is some of those women that they still have on the roster that may not have the abilities of a lot of the women that are in there now, they're going to be the ones that are going to be getting squashed on TV. So as much as you feel bad for the Iconics being let go, they had a pretty decent run as a tag team. I don't think anybody will deny when I say that they went further in WWE than I think anybody expected. You know, they did hold gold for a little bit, especially when we were talking about Tamina Snuka the other day, you know, it's other than the 24/7 title. But Billie Kay, unfortunately, they wanted Peyton Royce to be a single star. And they realized quickly that it was going to be a much more difficult time. And they immediately paired her up with Lacey Evans. And then right away, everybody's like, why did you break up the Iconics then? You know, why do this stipulation where they could never team up again? WWE was hell-bent on never having them team up again. They wanted Peyton Royce. And this is what you got to understand. I'm not trying to be a dick when I say this. But, you know, me, I've been involved over the years doing these shows with multiple people. And, you know, the thing is that, you know, people go their separate ways. People go different ventures, this and that. But some people always try to keep names attached to each other. And when WWE, in the case of Peyton Royce, when they're trying to develop Peyton Royce as a single star, and everybody still keeps attaching her to Billie Kay, you got to force the narrative. So splitting them up is not enough. Doing a stipulation that they can never team again is their way of saying to the WWE Universe, all right, now shut the fuck up about the Iconics. They're never teaming up again. Move on. Let's focus on Peyton Royce. Problem is, it never came to development. They had a teaming up with Lacey Evans. Lacey Evans left because she's pregnant. Then Peyton Royce, you remember when I said it, wasn't trying to be nasty, but when Peyton Royce went on, you know, Raw Talk and cuts this shoot promo, you know, trying to get noticed, you know, I didn't fall for it. I mean, it was passionate. And there was a lot of reality in it. She was very frustrated that she wasn't getting more opportunity, and she demanded the match with Asuka. And she got the match with Asuka, and it was good. It was good. But nothing about it said, yeah, why are they keeping her down like this? They got to let her, you know, they got to build on this. It just didn't feel it. And now they made their bed. Iconics could not form. Of course, they could have reformed it. Nothing in wrestling has to be permanent. There could have been, Sonya Deville could have put them back together. Sonya Deville comes back, convinces Adam Pearce, let them back together. There's 1,000 ways they could have done it. But WWE was hell-bent on keeping them split. They realized Peyton Royce was not working out as a single star. And now you got this person coming back, and this person coming back, and this person coming back, and this person coming from NXT, and this person coming up. And you're like, what are we going to use her? You going to let Peyton Royce eat all the pins, get squashed by everybody? No. So they're doing Peyton Royce a favor, in my opinion. Now, Peyton Royce, I think, not just because Shawn Spears is there, but I think Peyton Royce would be excellent in AEW. I think she would be excellent in AEW because she could build up on Dark, elevation, slowly get a little momentum, give her the opportunity to show the fans what she can do on a weekly basis, not once every 2 months, and see where it goes. So Billie Kay, though, I don't know what happens to Billie Kay. Because again, as much as you all like her and as much as I acknowledge she is a sweetheart, and she is one of the better people that, you know, you hear about in wrestling, just a genuinely good person. Problem is that enough for any wrestling company out there? I mean, does she come off as a valet? Does she come off as a manager? You put her in the ring, I mean, and she's against like a really top-notch wrestler, and she wrestles the way she does. I mean, what do you do with her? So I'm a little concerned what happens to Billie Kay. I would not be surprised if she goes back overseas for a little bit. And, you know, it's sad. It's cool that the Iconics came in together and they're leaving together. I know that sounds kind of cold, but I think, you know, in a weird way, I think that is something special to them. That they came in on their terms and, you know, they unfortunately did not leave on their terms, but, you know, they established a little bit of a tiny little legacy in WWE. They will not be forgotten. They will not be forgotten. Billie Kay, you know, I wish she would improve in the ring, but anybody that tells me that she has gotten a lot better compared to 3 or 4 years ago, it's just not true. And this is an entertainment business. You know, Billie Kay, you know, might be best suited as being squashed right now on TV. WWE doesn't see that with her. I wish her the best. I wish Peyton Royce the best. And no reason why we can't see some of them back in WWE. It's not, you know, nobody burned bridges. Everybody tonight, very appreciative. They being very respectful. And that's a sign of maturity. That's a sign of doing business the right way. Nobody wants to be fired. Nobody wants to be let go. Nobody, you know, wants to feel that their worth is not on the level for the craft that they do. There's, you know, egos hurt. Financially, it hurts. But, you know, now you have to take that chicken shit and turn it into chicken salad. And I hope they all do. I hope they all do. I wish them all nothing but the best. So that's my honest views on all of it. You know, may not be the most popular things to say, but, you know, that's for others to keep the cake and ice cream stuff. So we'll do the contest in 1 minute. First, I want to give a shout out to Miss Stack. Jackie Gleason, I love his work. Not just the Honeymooners. When he showed up, I have the Smokey and the Bandit license plate. By the way, we got Big Worm up there now from Friday. I got about 60 plates. Every week I try to rotate it. Did a little early this week, but Jackie Gleason, I laughed my ass off when he did Smokey and the Bandit. It was hilarious. I remember as a kid when it came on TV, regular TV, and they had to edit out all the curses. And I have it still. You know, I can't put it on here, but anybody out there, I'm sure the TV version is somewhere on YouTube, but they would censor him, and instead of saying scumbag, it would be scumbucket. Jackie Gleason freaking loved him, man. Loved his pool playing. Absolutely loved him doing Minnesota Fats. Jackie Gleason is awesome. I thought Smokey and the Bandit 2 was a little bit cheesy, but Jackie Gleason's work, spectacular. Definitely enjoyed it. Enjoyed his work. Definitely loved Jackie Gleason, man. Definitely loved him. I mean, obviously, his health. In fact, I just saw a documentary about Jackie Gleason on YouTube not even a month ago when they were talking about how the Honeymooners started. Then he had some health issues. Wasn't the last movie that he ever had was with Tom Hanks? I think the last movie he ever did was with Tom Hanks. Something in Me, I think it was. And it was wonderful. And he originally turned down the role. And they convinced him to do it, and because he had poor health. And Jackie Gleason was awesome, man. Jackie Gleason was awesome. Can't say that enough. So the Honeymooners, obviously special. So Pineapple, what the hell? Pineapple Platopotamus? Pineapple Platopotamus. Holy shit. Oh, yeah, no, I'm going to bring that up, James Edward. Pineapple Platopotamus. Do I think superpowers are possible? There's a book to learn from. Groundbreaking science, kinetic control, I think that would be, right, K.I.? I don't, I'll check it out. I don't mind. I think that there is some superpowers out there, but I don't know, man. I mean, if they were so easily accessible, I don't know anybody that has superpowers. I mean, I don't mind checking it out, if there's some trick to the trade that we could, I mean, I know that there's areas in the brain that we never tap into, that, you know, that they think like certain vitamins, certain things like give you like, that's why, like, because being on keto, you have coconut oil, you know, that MCT oil. And when I first started taking that stuff, yes, it gave you stomach cramps, but it was just weird. A cloud, you realize you had a cloud over your head. And I would feel literally this clarity that I never felt before. And the focus was incredible. But hey, I'm definitely interested. I'm always interested in, you know, scientific things about us, you know, as far as if there's something that we can improve ourselves like that, I don't mind checking it out, man. And James Edward, yes, it was announced tonight. Mauro Ranallo will call only the main event match. It'll be Rich Swann versus Kenny Omega, title for title. And Mauro Ranallo is being brought in to Impact Wrestling to call that match. I'm enjoying it, just as I'm enjoying all of you having these continued arguments about Nia Jax in the chat room. But look, it's nice to see Mauro Ranallo back doing a little something with wrestling. Obviously, Impact Wrestling gave him an offer that he couldn't refuse, and it's good to see him back calling a match. No pressure. You know, it's one match, and I kind of like it, man. It reminds me back in the day. Now, obviously, Gordon Soley was much past his prime, but I liked when you would see like NWA would bring in Gordon Soley, or you bring in someone to do play-by-play for one match or two matches that are extremely important for a promotion. So doing this, it really makes the match feel a little extra special. I know a lot of people out there still have a hard time getting into Rich Swann as being a heavyweight champion, but you know, the outcome of this match, you know, a lot of people think back to when, you know, Harley Race was the NWA champion and he took on Bob Backlund, who was the WWF champion, and when Ric Flair was the NWA champion, he took on Bob Backlund, who was the WWF. Like, it would usually end in a DQ or double count out, although I think Harley Race did lose once to Backlund. A lot of people feel that this is going to end in the schmaz. I'm not so sure. I think, you know, there's a good chance that Kenny Omega could, in fact, hold the Impact Wrestling Championship as well. Especially if they do that storyline that I've been saying for months with Tony Khan turning heel and joining the Elite. I could see that happening. Right now, I'm not 100% sure where this match will go, but obviously something is going to happen in that match where they want a very special, powerful voice with those words left on there. There's controversy coming out of that match. They want someone with throwing a Mamma Mia or something like that, and that is going to make it feel that much more important when it happens. So, yes, it was Khan all along. I'm telling you, I can't believe, you know, some people are starting to put it together now, but that's one thing I regret about not tweeting that much. Somebody puts a tweet out there, and then, you know, everybody gives them all the acknowledgement. Oh, yeah, so-and-so said it. But meanwhile, I'm saying to myself, yeah, we talked about it on the show 8 months ago, you know, so. But again, I'd rather, you know, talk to you. I don't need that, you know, little tiny acknowledgement and stuff like that. Omega is now winning in a 3-minute squash. It is going to be a really good match. It is probably going to be a 15 to 20-minute match. It's going to be, from what you're hearing, it's going to be pretty damn good. We just got to see how much controversy happens coming out of that match. So, let's do the contest, because we are at 2.5 hours already. It is getting late very quickly. Again, if you think of the releases today, This person indirectly has to do with the releases. In tribute to QT Marshall, who dat, I'm going to put a picture on the screen. I have 3 photos. So if somebody doesn't win on the first photo, then I will add the second photo and the third photo. Some tells me somebody is going to answer it just like this. Now, what do you win? Empty water bottle. All right, that kind of stand. All right. Very quickly, we got the prize wheel. As you can see, there's various numbers on here. I don't know if Dream 101 is live right now, but Dream 101 won $160 2 weeks ago. 2 spins from the wheel. And I think what happened was he landed on like $10 in a spin twice, and it just kept going. But whoever wins the contest tonight, you got a choice. You could have 2 spins from this wheel. Whatever the money adds up to, it's yours. I also have behind me the bingo balls. See the bingo balls? See it? There's 100 balls inside there. They're labeled 1 to 100. You could have 2 balls from the bingo balls, and whatever those 2 balls add up to, that's yours too. Or you could have 1 spin of the wheel and 1 ball. So again, your choice is 2 spins of the wheel, or 2 balls, a pair of balls, or 1 spin and 1 ball. Whatever it adds up to, that's your prize. So get your typing fingers ready. I think somebody is going to answer this correctly in record time. I didn't want it to be difficult. You know, I think I will turn this light off, though. Oh, no. Actually, I think it's better on. Yeah, it's kind of better on. All right. Again, I'm going to put a picture on. And all you got to do is tell me who dat. Plain and simple. And the only hint, once again, is this person indirectly has to do with someone on the release. The release is from today. Got to type the first and last name, the wrestling name. I want you to tell me, and we have the chat room on the screen to be transparent. So the first person that pops up with the answer, I will say, okay, we got a winner, and then that's it. So I want you to tell me very simply, who dat? Who dat? Come on, somebody's got to know who dat. If we don't get anybody in like 15, 20 seconds, I'll add picture number 2. Who dat? Who dat? Somebody is very close. I need the first and the last name. Who dat? Who dat? Need the first and the last name. All right. You haven't got it yet. Somebody's very close, though. All right. I'm going to put picture number 2. Who dat? Come on. Somebody's got to get it. Somebody was so close. First and last name. The wrestling name, not the real name. Who dat? Come on. Indirectly has to do with somebody who was released today. Somebody came so close. I need a first and a last name. Oh, my God. Nobody's got it so far. Holy shit. All right. So you know what? We're going to take that out. Said somebody is very close. I need a first and last name. There you go. Who dat? Now somebody's got to get it. Come on. She was in NXT. There we go. Good. Good. The right person got it. The right person got it. Harris B. Harris, you were so freaking close. You kept saying Sarah from Tough Enough. No, we needed the name. That is Sarah Lee. She won Tough Enough. She is the wife of Wesley Blake. I had to look down just to make sure I was right. That is Sarah Lee. She was let go from NXT a couple of years ago. They are married. They have kids. And it's a shame because Wesley Blake is now without a job. But that is Sarah Lee. Yeah, that's Sarah Lee. A lot of people, wow. I'm very surprised at that one. I figured, okay, maybe with the sunglasses it would be a little hard, but I thought that picture would give it away. Sarah Lee. So Harris B, man. Kudos to you. This was fun. I expected somebody to get it almost immediately. But when I saw Harris write, "Oh, that's Sarah from Tough Enough," I'm like, no, that's not it. But so Harris, I know you're a channel member as well, so you could email me dontony@dontony.com, or when I put that little thread tomorrow addressing the predictions contest, you could just contact me there. But so now here's the good part, the fun part. Harris, what do you want? Do you want a set of balls? Do you want 2 spins? Or do you want a ball and a spin? I got to tell you, man, although it's a shame that everybody got released, I think tonight's episode was a hell of a lot of fun. I know we didn't do one last week, and the week before I was away, so we haven't done one in, 3 weeks? So this was fun. Well, we did do it last week. We did WrestleMania. No, what did we do last week? I know we did something. Maybe we didn't. So, okay, so Harris B, what do you want? He's going to take the spins. All right, so you get 2 spins. Whatever it adds up to, the 2 spins, you get the prizes. Now, what I will do, I'm going to go in here. Oh, I'm causing chaos already. Oh, now I really fucked it up. All right, forget it. Forget the balls. I got all my balls on the floor right now. Forget the ball. I was going to pull a pair of balls out. I know that doesn't sound right on audio only. I was going to pull a pair of balls out and see what they added up to. So, all right, let's do 2 spins on the wheel. Good luck, my friend. Okay. We'll put it on the big 100 to start. I'll spin it twice. Whatever it lands on, it's yours. Good luck. Okay, $25. $25. You might land on a spin, might land on the 100. So you got 25 so far. We do it one more time. Good luck. $5 in a spin. See, look, $5 in a spin. So you still go. You got another spin. So you're up to 30. Take the image off, Don Tony. What, of this? Oh, shit. Oh, man. Oh, that unbelievable. Well, you know what? Wow. I just totally you know what, my friend? I don't think you could do worse than $30 across 2 spins. So we'll do it again. No, it really did land on 5 in a spin. I didn't realize the pictures of Sarah Lee was still on the screen. All right, so we'll start it over. Put it back on the 100, like I said before. So we'll do 2 spins. The first 2 spins came out to $30 with 1 extra spin. Something tells me you're going to end up winning more than that. So let's do it. Good luck. You see, you're ready to head of the game. You got $50 right there. So you got a 50 spot. We spin it one more time. Good luck. $10 in a spin. Get 1 more extra spin. So you're up to 60. 1 more spin. Good luck. $30. So you got $90. Not too bad, right? $90 for who dat? Wow. If I would have taken the Sarah Lee pictures off the screen, you would have won $30 in a spin. But good for you, man. The two balls that fell over here, one was for 51. I don't know if you could see that. And the other one was for 6. So you ended up ahead. So yeah, $90, man. So just get in touch with me. You know how to do it. And you got your choice. PayPal, Amazon, e-gift card, or money order. Your choice. So with that said, let's show you the last video for tonight. This is the match that went down. Trust me when I tell you, this match, like I said, a lot of you have been enjoying the matches also. This one, to me, is top notch. And when you realize, again, this is just indie, and it's 15 years ago, and I think these guys put on a fabulous job. It was so much fun, and the crowd was really into it as well. Now, when it comes to Mac Daddy Flex's theme, I probably have to lower the audio a little bit because I didn't realize how much of his song is playing. But I'm curious. Anybody, when you hear this now, when you hear his theme, if you know the name of the song, type it in the chat. You don't have to super chat it, but I'm curious of what the song is. Because I kind of like the beat to it, and I can't figure out where the song is from. So, all right, let's put the match up. Enjoy. This one is a lot of fun, I promise you. Enjoy.
And our first tag team with a combined weight of 480 pounds. Sorry, 480 ultra masculine pounds. Ultra sexy Joe So Delicious. The masculine marvel Sabotage. Accompanied by Jason Static. Give it up for the best bodies in the business.
The best bodies in the business. What do you call the masculine what?
I don't know. Masculine 480.
When did Sabotage become a pretty boy?
I think that was the old WWF theme, believe it or not. If you hear that music in the background.
Oh, it's our main event of the evening. Is it the heroic entrance?
No, that was the old WWF theme from 78 or 79, believe it or not.
Jason Static. So delicious.
I think that was Vinny the Guido's sister. I think. Yeah, Harris, I'll tell you how to get in touch with me. Don't worry about it. I know you're a channel member, so it'll be easy to get in touch with you. You could get in touch with me in the email too, but I'll get in touch with you through YouTube.
And these three are powerhouses.
Well, I don't know about Sabotage.
Sabotage is so clever and devious.
All right, let me know if you could recognize Mac Daddy's theme, but I'll probably lower it halfway through so we don't get hit with any, you know, I don't really monetize anyway, but.
Oh, it's the beauty league. The Brooklyn Queens connection here, so it's,
I don't know.
the only expressway that connects Brooklyn and Queens.
That guy was a dick.
They're accompanied by the big man, Don Tony.
Mac Daddy Flex. He's got one of the best bodies.
What's that theme? I can't recognize the beat.
And the Grim Reaper. Always main event in Victory Pro Wrestling. An event wouldn't be right if Reaper wasn't in the main event.
I like it. I probably would get like the instrumental. I lowered it just a little bit. I can't recognize the theme. Okay, it stopped. I'm telling you, it's a fun match, everyone. You'll enjoy it.
Adapt his wrestling style for any match.
I'll tell you, Mac Daddy Flex was a lot bigger than you think. Even Joe So Delicious too. I'll run that theme through Shazam tomorrow without me talking, so.
Tony, the Don Juan
Don Juan.
of BPW. I guess he doesn't have a poker night tonight.
No poker night tonight.
And he could be a title contender. I mean, we have seen him in all these main events before.
Oh my God, you are right, Earl. Any one of these guys.
I think any one of these men
can be the first ever BPW World Champion. Look, there's a lot of jaw jacking.
You know that little guy Sabotage on the right? I actually managed him for about 6 months, so you will see footage of me managing him. It's pretty funny, actually. Very nice guy.
Marvel Sabotage. I thought he was a Steel City assassin, but maybe not. Sabotage.
Now watch how Reaper adapts to this wrestling style. He's gonna be...
Look at that! Wow.
And now reversing that.
Thank you, Austin.
I'm in a hammerlock. Sabotage. Oh, back elbow. Oh! An insulting slap to the face. Grim Reaper. Look at Juicy Joe, so delicious.
Is that what they call him?
He's ultra sexy and juicy. I don't know where he got that from. Ken, going wild, ready for this main event.
I don't think I took any bumps in this match.
Off the ropes. Shoulder tackle by Reaper. Sabotage scurries away. He's looking to hide behind the fans.
Oh man, if AEW offered me to do a dark match, I'll freaking pay my way there. I wouldn't even hesitate. Still got all my gear.
Sabotage and Flex, all members of the school of Johnny Rods.
Right. And Jason Static.
Match picks up now.
All of them.
Johnny Rods, a living legend.
Oh, he's pointing to you. A little too cocky there. Oh, into a leg drop. Nice transition.
Right now, the Steel City Assassin needs some help there. He needs to make that tag.
Oh, he doesn't have the strength. Another hip toss. Nice arm drag. Another one shades at Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
And now Sabotage
goes out again.
Leaving the ring to be consoled by his partners.
I don't know, his partners. I don't know if there's hidden meaning behind that.
Still can't believe that guy Joe's so delicious passed, man.
Oh, here's Mac Daddy Flex. He's a massive man. Oh, Sabotage is always behind him. Oh, he got scared. Oh, he texted ultra sexy Joe so delicious. Oh my gosh. Are these two sick of each other? They see each other in the ring every single night. Every time they wake up in the morning and night.
Thank you, Larry.
Now both these men are going to test their skills here.
These are two of the biggest men in the business. Headlock by Flex. Irresistible force being immovable. They're both immovable objects. Oh my goodness. The strength of both men. Reversal.
Reversal here.
Oh.
Nice shoulder block there.
Look at that shoulder block by
Flex.
Flex. Oh, that clothesline. That scoop. Spin him around and it's slam. The strength of the Flex. Mac Daddy Flex. Oh, he's gonna send him. Oh, over that top rope onto the floor.
There we go.
What is? Oh my goodness.
What is this?
Reaper getting high.
No.
Oh no! The high risk of the Grim Reaper.
That knee.
That was intentional, by the way.
Oh my
Teasing
goodness.
their
I
knee.
hope he's okay. That's the risk they take. Oh, and they're taking him down. They're taking advantage. Reaper needs that medicinal stuff to take away the pain. Slingshot back in. Oh, Reaper looks hurt. Oh my gosh. But Flex is nope, that doesn't shake him.
And I think Reaper's knee was.
Oh, look at the strength of Flex. You are right, Earl. Reaper, Ginger.
He attempted that high-risk maneuver with a bad knee.
Oh my goodness, I hope he's okay. But Flex looks like he got it out.
Wow, that was nice.
That back body drop.
Simple but effective.
Oh, Joe So Delicious from behind sneaks up on Flex.
And Delicious, I think you say that to all the boys.
Oh my goodness. One fan thinks he might be a little too delicious. Oh, look at the strength in that suplex by Joe So Delicious. 1, 2. Flex back up. Flex. Reversal.
Reversal here and
oh, he finally got him down.
So I couldn't do too much because Jason Stack's on the opposite side of the ring. So I couldn't get animated too much because then I would have to get an ass kicking.
The power. Oh my God. Oh, he gets out of it. He's got a German suplex slam. Oh, that took a lot out of Flex as well.
Both men down here. One of these men has to step up to challenge.
But does Flex want to take the Grim Reaper? He was hurt.
And he got it.
Oh, here's Reaper. Oh, he's up. Double Axel a la Macho Man. Reaper looks like he's been recovering. It might have been that medicinal stuff. Oh, the strike, they jump. Oh, a stun gun. A stun gun by Joe So Delicious. Oh, here, oh, they're working on that hamstring. The knee and hamstring. Oh my goodness. Oh, they're wrenching it in. No mercy. Oh, European uppercut. Irish whip. Oh. Oh. Forearm to the back. Nice transition. Oh, German. Oh my God. He dropped him right on his head. 1, 2.
I'll tell you, Sabotage made an intelligent maneuver there by working the knee of Grim Reaper. They saw that he injured that knee before that high-risk maneuver that he took. And they're trying to capitalize on that injury.
You are right, no mercy.
Good strategy here. Good teamwork by these men.
Oh. Sidewalk. This could be a sidewalk flip. Oh. Strength. 1, 2. How is Reaper getting the strength? Irish whip. Vicious. Oh, he got him. He set him up.
Does hurt your hand a little bit.
Oh my gosh, he's gonna tell. Oh.
And there's a save by a Sabotage there.
Saved by the
masculine marvel.
Masculine marvel. Oh my God, that just makes me laugh every time. Go for a backslide. No.
Watch this move. I think it's awesome. Look. That's awesome, man. That's like the reverse Razor's Edge.
My juicy Joe so delicious.
That was an unbelievable move.
The strength of Joe so delicious.
He's waiting too long, though.
Flex took the save.
Has been done now.
The damage has been done. It's been done ever since he attempted that high-risk maneuver.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Reaper taking a lot of abuse. That man. A crowd behind Reaper. Another step. Oh my gosh, a double sharp kick to the back. You saw his spine split right there.
Tell you, for small crowds, they were energetic, man.
Oh wait, oh the ref didn't see it. The ref didn't see the tag. Oh come on, come on, ref.
That's not right. Tags on the big man there. Flex should have been in here saving his partner.
He should have been in the ring. You're right, Earl.
I can't believe the distraction.
Where is he getting this strength? Uh-oh. We got him up. Oh, Reaper got out. Answers back with a chop. Oh, he almost had the tag. Oh, and Joe So Delicious takes Flex out. Preventing him from getting the tag. Oh, big boot by Joe So Delicious. Flex looks shaken up.
Cocky move there, but Joe So Delicious too arrogant.
An arrogant covered indeed.
The match is going to end soon.
Look at the quick tags. I'm quite impressed by the teamwork.
It's very impressive.
Irish whip, reverse. Oh, did you see that?
Wow, that was nice.
Wow, a spinning heel kick. Transition.
I'm telling you, these guys could go, man.
Sabotage up top. Oh, he blocked the tornado DDT. Wow, he caught him midair. Oh no, this can't be good. Oh, a hurricane runner from the top by Sabotage.
And that was, Sabotage is really controlling this match here.
1, 2.
I have to say the team of Sabotage and Joe So Delicious is working together like they've been teaming for years and years.
They've been a formidable group since the last show, the past couple of shows actually. So under the tutelage of the best body and the best personal trainer in the business, Jason Static.
According to the Daily News.
Nice.
Oh my goodness.
I think the end of the match is coming up now.
Oh my goodness, Flex back in. Oh!
There we go!
That's Spine Buster! Shades of
Nice.
Ron Anderson. 1, 2.
No, wait a minute. The big man there waiting in the corner.
He's gotta watch his back. Watch your back, Flex.
No.
Oh!
Nice.
By Sabotage. Fireman's carry. Oh, he dropped his gut right on his knee.
What is going on here?
Look at the carnage in the ring. Reaper back in his corner.
Well, where's Jason Static going?
This is funny. I had to run out of the way, so I didn't.
I'll be back.
I'm going to pause this. You remember I was talking last week about Sting and the Butcher and the Blade just ran by Sting, and I think Butcher even like tapped Sting, like getting out of the way, like not understanding the presence, how ridiculous that looked, you know, because they're supposed to take out Sting and they just run by him like nothing. You'll be reminded of it when you see this.
The scoop. Slam. Oh, the zombie's out. The zombie's back.
See, I had to run out of the way so they didn't run by me and I looked like a goof.
Missed the elbow. The zombie. Jason Static.
That zombie just came out. I guess he liked the way the taste of Jason Static.
Oh my god, maybe he's delicious. Jay's so delicious.
I don't know.
Oh, now we're back at 2-on-2. The playing field is even now. Reaper got him up on his shoulders. Oh, a spike DDT by Reaper. That could be it. 1, 2. Oh.
No, Big Man saves him.
Joe's so delicious.
I don't know if there was a legal tag there.
I don't know what's legal now. Oh, he got him. He got him in the crossface. The chronic crossface. He's about to tap. Will he tap?
Just is trying to reach that rope there.
He's so cold.
He has a rope.
And Sabotage hits him with the big boot. Sabotage. All 4 men in.
What's up, Planet Mondo?
Miss double team. Oh! Look at that. Oh,
That was nice. Bye-bye.
Oh, what is this? Into a power bomb. 2, 3. A sitting down power bomb. By Flex. With the assist from Reaper. What a match. What a way to end this main event. What a show.
The powers that be are watching.
Wow. Well, these
Yeah, I gotta find out what song that is. I had to lower it because I don't want to get... Watch this last part. It's actually pretty funny.
Friday, October 12th is the night. The first ever tournament. The crown. The new champion. Oh, I can't wait for Earl McMuffin. I'm LC Queens. Thank you and good night.
Good night, everyone.
I miss Timmy, man. Timmy is freaking good people, man. He fucking ran in the bushes. Oh, man, I miss Timmy. Timmy was good people, man. He made me laugh. I never told this publicly on the shows, but I know a bunch of people were there. There was a friend that was friends with all the wrestlers, and she left her camera on the top of a bar. And this was after the show, because they had a little bar inside the VFW hall also. And after the show was over, we were all in the bar having a couple of drinks. And Timmy, who's still in his zombie thing, realized whose camera it was. He says, I'll be right back. And he goes in the bathroom. No idea what he did. And comes back with the camera and leaves it on the bar. Well, the next show, everybody gets together about 2-3 hours before the show, and this person walks up to Timmy, slap right in the face. Now, it was obviously, 2021, you probably wouldn't do that. But what he did was he pulled his pants down and he put his dingling inside of like a plastic cup and was taking pictures of him as the zombie on with the mirror in the background, and took pictures in his phone, the phone. It was pretty funny, man. It was pretty funny. I mean, like I said, I don't think you would do that in 2021, but it wasn't anything. Everybody was friends, so it was everybody just ragging on each other. But Stony Loney, big shout out to you, my friend. What is Stony Loney asking? Random question on joint custody for father trying to get 50-50 of his son. I'll be honest with you. I don't have any legal background to give you an answer on that, but I will tell you, and I'm just putting the chat room back on because maybe somebody has a better answer. It all depends on the person, the type of person. It depends on the relationship. It's very difficult for a father to get full custody of a kid many times. Usually goes to the mother. As far as 50-50 joint custody, that's usually the norm. So, my obvious advice would be talk to an attorney. But that's up to a court to decide. And I know, obviously, the backgrounds of both parents heavily weighs into that. I know someone who went through a horrible custody battle. And, the parents, each one was trying to get sole custody of the kid. They ended up getting joint custody, and it was not very pleasant at all. In fact, when a lot of when I dated this woman in the early 90s that had triplets, she got full custody of the kids, but this guy was fighting her pretty hot and heavy to try to get custody of the kids, and it was always tense when this guy would show up at the house and everything. It's not something pleasant, but that's something you definitely want to talk to a lawyer about, because I don't think anything I could say would be an appropriate answer, because at the end of the day, it's the court to decide unless there's an amicable agreement. But 50-50 custody, I can't see why that wouldn't be granted. So, Neil, you're right. Custody battles, most of the time it goes right to the mother. So, but, I don't know if you're going through that. If you are, best of wishes from me. I could only imagine what that's like. I don't have any kids. I always thought about having kids, but, my God, if I would have had a kid, that's one thing, as weird as it may sound, that's one thing I thank God. When I got married in 99 and got it annulled, we were done 6 months later. The worst thing that would have ever happened is if I had a kid with her. That I would not want to have ties to her, forever. We just went our separate ways and that's it. So I'm thankful I did not have any kids with my ex. That's, oh my God. So anyway, with that said, I think I'm going to jet out of here. As always, I know I didn't say it at all tonight, but if you enjoyed today's show, I would greatly appreciate it if you could hit that like button on the way out. The more you do that, the more that tells YouTube that this show should be recommended to others. And as I always say, like, share, subscribe. Helps me a great deal. Can't wait to get to 20,000. Never thought in a million years. We're only, 15 months in on YouTube? 16 months in about, and we're almost at 20,000 subscribers already. Especially the fact that 75 to 80% of everybody who tunes into the shows still only access audio only. I don't see myself ever getting rid of the audio only option, but just keep that in mind when you check out shows on YouTube. People try to compare or throw it in my face that other people have bigger stats. You know, if I got rid of audio only and put all those audios, forcing people to go on YouTube, you see how those numbers change. I don't want to make it inconvenient for people out there. But I appreciate all the support. Much love. Wow, we went 3 hours and 10 minutes. Never in a million years expected to go that long today, but I guess we made up for the last 3 weeks. So I hope you enjoyed it. And Sam, as far as the 7 dislikes, my brother, Sam, you know who they are. You know who they are. I mean, we don't need to bring specific names, but there are people out there that will never accept the fact that, you know, I have moved on to YouTube and changed. And it's, you know, it's people that, you know, think, and like I said, the sad thing about it is, you know, we're talking about grown adults, and if that makes them happy, you know what I mean? Good for them. What am I going to say? I mean, you know, the fact that people can't let things go and they have that hatred doesn't bother me anymore, my friend. It really doesn't. You know, it's sad that that's what it comes down to for some people out there. Like, they get giddy. As soon as I announce that a show is coming up, you get 1 or 2 people. It's the same people every time, and they'll do that. But, you know, the bottom line is they're not going to affect the show in any way, and we have great shows, and I am here almost every single day doing shows. I love doing it with all of you out there, and I don't mind putting in all the hard work, and that's what matters at the end of the day. We're here, they're not, and you know, it's all good. It's all good, seriously. For every person that does that, there's about 1,000 of you that don't, or even 10,000 of you that don't. So it's all good. It's all good. Don't sweat it. But I'm going to jet out of here, and everyone have a great night. You know, if you're around tomorrow night, you want to hang out for a little while. I mean, I promise you tomorrow will be shorter. We're going to just focus on SmackDown, quarter-hour ratings for AEW and NXT, and if there's any additional releases, we'll talk about that too. That is all that is planned for tomorrow, those 3 things. So, you know, expect it. Have a great night. And Juan is asking me, where was I before on YouTube? Just to give you the short version, from 1997 until 2006, I did a wrestling hotline. In 2004, I started taking my wrestling hotline and putting the audio on the net so a bigger audience could enjoy the shows. This is before podcast really became a thing, so I guess that was the early version of what a podcast was. This was around 2003. Then from 2003 until last January, I did audio-only shows. So from 1997 to 2020, I did only audio-only shows. About 5 years ago, I was going to go to YouTube, but, you know, I pretty much was the only person that was interested in doing that, so I decided against it and just keep doing. But it got to a point where, you know, it needed another challenge, and I wanted to branch out. I knew there was a whole different audience out there, and I went to video only. And the interesting thing about it is I hyped it up for about 8 or 9 months in advance that I was going video in January of 2020. And once I realized early on that there were people making me feel guilty and talking a lot of shit behind my back for going to YouTube, then I realized I was doing something right. So, you know, Shane Douglas has told me something a long time ago: talk good about me, talk bad about me, just talk about me. And that's something that I never, ever forgot from that. So it's all good. You know, I'll be here until, you know, I can't. So, but I hope everybody enjoyed the show. You know, as time goes by, I'll get a little bit better here. This is still very new to me. It's still hands-on. You know, I don't have anybody helping me with the production side of it. You know, that's why we really haven't launched taking calls at this time. I will be taking calls in the very near future. I just, when you have so many things going on while you're doing the show, and I've had a few people offer some assistance, but honestly, nobody has come through. Some people had good intentions, but I don't think they realized, how much is involved. And once I launch something, it's balls out or nothing. So I don't ever want to be one of those that promises you something and then it doesn't happen. So I'm learning as we go. Thank God, little by little, we're having less and less audio issues, internet issues, connection issues. Earlier tonight, it cost me a couple of bucks because I left Sarah Lee's picture on the screen a little too long, but Harris B is good people, so I'm glad he got some extra coin. But I'm going to get out of here. We're at 3 hours and 15 minutes, everybody. But again, if you're around tomorrow night, 10:05 p.m. Eastern, I will be right here. Again, SmackDown review, AEW NXT quarter-hour ratings, and we'll discuss any additional releases that may come up between tonight and tomorrow. So, yeah, no buffering. We got all the buffering issues out of the way, too. Thank God, because that was something that sucked. Every time I tried to play a video, like everything would get all screwed up, and then I realized as far as like the bandwidth and this and that. So, again, it's a work in progress. And, I'm learning on the fly. And, you'll see some upgrades as we go along. But everyone, great night. Much love. And, again, the fact that you show me this love and support, I owe you to give you 110%. There's a lot of people out there that will soak in all the love and the attention. And then unless somebody else does everything for them, they do nothing for you. Nothing. I'll never be one of those people. So I thank you for tuning in, my friends. Catch you tomorrow night, 10:05 p.m. Eastern, after SmackDown. So take care, everybody. Much love. Ciao.